The son of the queen, the left hand. Cause you are going I like cookies. And when I was making it iPhone. Cause you are going I get so. And that's me good. The left hand. That's me too. The left hand. Love you more than life itself. That's me. I get so tired. That's me. There'll be a scene. That's me. I get so I like to kiss. That's me. There'll be a scene. That's me. I get so tired. That's me. There'll be a scene. That's me. I get so tired.
Christopher Robin, what exactly is doing nothing?
Well, I'm told it means going along, listening to all the things you can't hear, and not bothering.
When I'm with you, I'm with you. And all when I'm with you, I'm with you. Forever and ever, all alone on the moon, and you will always answer forever. Forever and ever, all alone on the moon.
Listening to all the things you can't hear.
No matter what I do, always be together. You should know. No matter what I do, always be together. No matter what I do, always be together. You should know. No matter what I do, always be together. Every song, wherever you ever, every song, and you will always answer. Every song, wherever you ever, every song, find me. When I'm with you, I'm with you. And all, when I'm with you, I'm with you.
Remember,
Forever and ever, all alone on the moon, and you will always answer. Forever and ever, all alone on the moon. I wanna stay like this, no matter what I do, always be together. You should know, no matter what I do, always be together. No matter what I do.
Why do we do that? Why do we turn the music down? Why do we turn the music down? The music's awesome. I love that music. Sorry. What's up, guys? What's up? All right. I'm gonna make sure I can. I've got everything set. Everything's going. Chat. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know how things sound. And as I continue to get stuff set up on my end, okay, we got chat. You know what? Let's actually maximize that. Get it. Let me know, chat. Let me know how audio sounds. Let me know how the audio sounds on your end. Mostly background music. I want to make sure everything sounds good, because last time I'm trying something different than I did last time for everybody who was here last time. The audio sounded a little kind of awkward, and you know what? That light, is right where I don't want it, but you know what? That's okay. We'll deal. Well, deal. It's actually not bad. It's not terrible. It looks pretty good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? You know what, guys? This has been like a pretty epic week. Pretty epic week, if you ask me. And how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing on Friday? All right, I'm honestly genuinely curious. I want to know how many people actually thought we were going to get more Lorcana news today. Sorry, I did. I'm not gonna lie, I chuckled a little bit when I saw there were other people kind of like poking, asking, "We get more news today?" They gotta save a lot. We've still got quite a ways. We still got quite a ways to go. All right, so we're gonna get into it. We're just gonna get into it here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run through the news for those of you who don't know. I don't even know. I think it was Tuesday. I think Tuesday was when all the stuff was released. I have yet to do a video on it. I wanted to come here first, just talk about it, and then gather my thoughts even more, and then put out a short video of kind of everything that happened. And just give everybody my thoughts. So we've got folks here, guys. We've got folks here. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun night. All right, so we're gonna get into it. So what happened was we got a new release, basically. We got a news dump from IGN, right? IGN of all places, right? Okay, this actually kind of looks. Sorry, guys. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Again, I'm still getting used to the software a little bit, so pardon me. Okay, so here's the article. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. You know what? Everyone most likely who's here has seen the link or has seen the article. Go check it out. So IGN released the article basically going through their entire product line. What I had said was not surprised. Like everything that I saw for the most part is pretty standard in my mind for other TCGs, other card games. So I wasn't super surprised. Excuse me, but still thrilled, right? Like the product line is like what we have come to expect. Like if you ask me, like this is let's actually open this. This is the kind of stuff you come to expect from any TCG. And you know what? Like coming from Ravensburger, guys, a puzzle company, puzzles. They make puzzles. Like they're nailing it. They're nailing it on the head. Nailing it on the head so far. So again, go check out the link. We've got new characters, different types of products announced. We're going to talk all about it. But yeah, this is the link. This is the article that was spoiled. So you know what? We're just going to jump right in. We're going to jump right in. And so what I'm going to do, we've got a bunch of creators here who we're just going to jump in. We're going to talk about it. And some folks were here last week. Some people were not. So so we're gonna talk all about it. So first, I want to get Sugi in here. Sugi's from the Lorcana cast, one of the many Lorcana podcasts that have sprung up. So Sugi, let's get him in here after I kind of shut my screen off here, which I still got to figure out. How to really even do that. Here we go. We're gonna shut that off, and Sugi's here. Sugi, how's it going? How's it going today? Can you hear me, sir? All right. So Sugi's here. I know he's here. We're gonna go ahead and shut that off until he gets stuff working there a little bit. So give me 1 second, guys. All right. So I'm just gonna start bringing people in, and we're just gonna start talking about it. So Liam, looks like Liam's here from the Illumineers. What's up, Liam? How you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, Dan?
Good, man. So how was your Friday?
My Friday was good. I was a little sleepy. I did a late night editing binge to get our latest video out, but still high on the news from the other day. So I feel like every few minutes another creator finds some detail that we missed. Jonty had that great video today, and
Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you guys didn't see Liam and Aaron's video, you guys got to go check it out. There's kind of like one reason it was really good. I'm not gonna lie, and that's because I was in it. I'm just kidding.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, right. All right. I think Sugi is good to go. So let's get Sugi in here. Sugi, can you hear me, sir? LOL testing. All right. So I can't hear Sugi. So we're gonna continue. We'll wait a little bit on Sugi, give him a little bit more time. So let's get Jonty in here. Jonty from the Lumineers. Jonty, we're gonna get you in here, and then Jonty,
I'm ready to go, Coach. Pull me in, Coach. I'm ready to
there
go.
We go. So Jonty, can you introduce yourself to the audience for those who don't know who you are?
How's it going, folks? My name's Jonty Sparrow. That is my real name. I assume my mother lost a bet. I am a manager at a local game store, an LGS. I also have been dabbling in YouTube on and off for best part of a decade now. And I'm a Disney adult and proud. And very excited for all this.
All right. So Jonty was like one of the first few videos that I kind of saw on YouTube a little bit. Jonty, I love all your thumbnails, dude. They're like, it's all pretty consistent, and you know they're from you, so they look really good.
All
very
about
nice.
the brand, but it's all about the brand.
Yeah, exactly. So Jonty, can you tell us what was your thoughts when you saw the announcement?
Much like yourself, it was everything that hit was like, seems solid, seems standard. Like they could have gone a lot of different ways, right? They could have come out the gate with, a couple of different. I wouldn't have been surprised if they came out with maybe 2 different tiers of booster pack. Like a standard pack and a super rare pack, or a collector pack, or a boot. Whatever you want to call it. Like that wouldn't surprise me. This is Disney through Ravensburger after all, so. They're more than happy to try and, eke out that extra few dollars on the whales. So that wouldn't have surprised me. But as it stands, everything pretty solid. Pretty happy with how it all looks, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Well, I think Sugi might be good to go. So let's see. There he is. We see him.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
hey! What's up with that? I guess refreshing the internet's a thing nowadays.
There you go. All right, so we've got Sugi from the Lorcana cast in here. Sugi, your first time here on the show as well. Introduce yourself to the audience, sir.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sugi. I am from the Lorcana cast, the happiest podcast on earth. We actually have 2 shows coming back to back, starting next Monday and then the subsequent Monday after that, talking about what we're about to talk to this evening. But yeah, we have a team that likes to play a lot of trading card games. We've got some professional grade judges and players, and so we kind of build in a combination of entertainment and education so that people who are listening are able to understand what we're talking about and all the terminology used when you're talking about Lorcana or any trading card game, because a lot of terms are synonymous across the board. So you'll hear things that make sense, and that way not only can you play Lorcana, but you're kind of up to date on the meta, you're up to date on different combos, different interactivities between the cards and the player base. So it's just a really fun and family-friendly podcast.
Mm-hmm. So, Sugi, I know you're on a little bit of a time constraint here. So, I want to get into your thoughts. What was your initial thought when you saw that article from IGN going through all the product line? So, first thing, I want to know what your thought is with the product line. Were you kind of like to be expected, or were you pleasantly surprised, or were you not surprised at all?
I mean, when they made the announcement, like, it was about dang time. That's what I thought. They I love the Disney Lorcana Facebook and Twitter team. I just dislike when they say soon over the course of like 2.5 weeks, because that's not really soon. That's like soon is when you put like bread in the oven and it comes out fresh. That's like the bread has got mold and bugs crawling out of it. And you're like, I don't think I want to eat that because I'll probably die of some kind of malnutrition or possession of bugs. So, anyways.
Nice.
I thought the announcement was like there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of questions that came out. So the big thing is we got an announcement for Gen Con. We got an announcement for the release date of the product, both in friendly local game stores, which is great, and big box hobby stores, which is also great. So we have an understanding that Lorcana is going to be available to the masses, not just a specific type of player. The other thing we got was a wide range of knowledge about a lot of the products coming out, the card spread and rarity on booster packs. We see that there are accessories, there's playmats, there's deck boxes. So it was a really strong showing from the Lorcana team, because they could have easily said, oh, hey, we're doing theme decks, we're doing booster packs, and that's it. But they really went hard and said, hey, we've got a Illuminator's Trove, which is essentially an ETB or a Fat Pack in Magic and Pokemon terms.
Right.
They've
Right.
Fat Pack, you're showing your age there. They're bundles now, buddy.
Well, let's be honest. Everybody still calls them Fat Packs.
It's true.
Yeah, I'll go to an event and be like, so where's the Type 2 signups? People are like, what? Oh yeah, standard for children. When we play like Sealed, I'm like, I like playing Type 1. They're like, what's wrong with this guy? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, if I see damage on the stack, people in the back start cringing. Like, I know how long you've been playing. I got you. So yeah, I'm that guy. I'm old. I don't look at it because my Asian superpowers are never aging until I hit 65, and then all of a sudden, like my just facial hair just grows.
It just
yeah. I instantly lose about 2 to 4 inches of height.
And it gets added to the end of your beard instead, right?
Yeah, I become Mr. Miyagi, but like, oh, wax on.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think the interesting thing is, and I'll stand by this, I think the D23, the initial announcement, was too early.
Yeah.
But now, if we kind of keep this pace moving, I think they can keep this pace moving forward. This sort of card a week, or something like that, and then intersperse that with bigger announcements such as rules or even just more information in general. I think that's fine, and I hope that we're out of that drought now. And I think the problem with is D23 is biannually, right? I believe. I think it's every other year. So it was, for them, it was either then or the game's been out for a year before the next one. So I can see why they pushed for it, but I do think it was a little early, to be honest.
I honestly wonder if they had to compensate for that, Jonty, because there was a lot of points in time where it felt like there should be something announced or something available to the general public, and we just got hit with, well, maybe, haha, here's a GIF. So I'm not too uncertain if the IGN article was really front heavy with information, because now, honestly, if we're really sincere about it, they could probably wait until February or March, like the end of February, early March, to have another major announcement.
Oh,
like,
yeah, major announcement wise,
1 or 2 cards.
Yeah,
right.
We get a card every week or 2, maybe now, and that's probably enough to satiate us.
Right.
Yeah, I think they saved their street cred, should we say, by giving us, here's the huge drop, here's a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, we could easily talk about a lot of the things from that article for the next 3-4 weeks, comfortably, very comfortably.
Can we give shout out to Cassie Warner and the marketing team, because they did their darndest to fill that gap.
Yeah,
teasing and
fair play to
and heroes of the battle for sure in the last few months, trying to keep us satiated.
Yeah. And this is something that I'm interested again, because we're talking about a puzzle company. We're talking about Ravensburger, who's never done something like this. So
I feel like calling them a puzzle company is a little disingenuous. They are one of the largest game producers in the world and have been for many years. Yes, they do make jigsaws, but they also make a lot of board games, a lot of IP-based stuff.
But my understanding is, and again, like I don't say, when I say puzzle company, like I don't say that like in a demeaning way, mind you, right? I just think when a lot of people think or see Ravensburger, they just they think puzzles over board games. But no, you're exactly right, Jonty. I mean they've made quite a bit of board games, but again, they've never done a trading card game. So this
is definitely a big change for them. But I don't know what I'm basing this on other than a gut, but I feel like they're hungry for it. I really think they're really trying their hardest for this to be a fully fledged, both collectible and playable game that actually gets into stores, actually gets into people's hands. I don't think they want this to be that sort of flash in the pan cash cow that it could very easily be. Right.
Right.
Well, you don't use the words robust for a standard trading card game.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. We're gonna get Lee in here. Lee Barbs from the Glimmer Gang. So Lee was on with us last week. Lee, what's up, man? How you doing today?
Not so bad, Dan. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Very well.
Good.
Hello. I'm going to be the techie guy.
And your webcam.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're coming through your mic.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, hold on.
Yeah. I had to do it. Mine tried to come through the webcam.
Yeah. So all right. As Lee, I'm going to mute you here for a minute. Let me know when you get that sorted. And you know what? We're gonna bring. We've got quite a few other new people.
Full house tonight, eh?
Yeah, we've got quite a few. So we're gonna get another person from the Glimmer Gang. We've got Teddy.
All right,
there
DJ
he is.
Khaled.
Hello, how we doing? Another one.
What's up, Teddy? How we doing today?
Not bad at all.
All right. So Teddy, give us your quick hot take on the product line.
I think everybody's kind of just like said what I was gonna say. Like, it's what we all expected. I think the booster boxes were expected. The equivalent to like Pokemon's ETBs with the Trove and stuff like that. I think it's just like all basic products that any board or any TCG needs to survive and give product out. And I think that's just like my overarching analysis of it. And I also like really like the play mats and deck boxes and stuff like that. That's also been talked about. That was interests me more just to see like how those would look and such.
Okay, so I want to get everyone else's take here on this. So when I was looking through the article and seeing all the products, when they're talking about playmats, when they're talking about deck boxes, when they're talking about all the pretty standard TCG accessories, I mean, were you guys all like? Was anyone surprised by when those products were announced?
Yes.
Oh, you were, Sugi?
I was.
Okay.
I am very surprised they announced sleeves.
Yes.
Because generally, sleeves produced by a company, no offense to anyone, suck big poo poo.
You're not wrong.
I'm surprised that part of the big announcement was officially licensed second tier stuff. Normally, it gets farmed out to Ultra Pro or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's
I was going to say usually see like Ultra Pro, Ultimate Guard, someone else doing it. And the fact they announced, hey, we've got a Maui official playmat. Okay, that's cool. Now, whether, of course, again, quality control is huge because traditionally companies that aren't known for making those kinds of products, just saying, kind of suck. So I hope that they've done their homework. I hope they haven't cheaped out and gone to like an OEM Chinese company where they can just slap a print on, because like it feels bad when you buy sleeves that you love and then you shuffle them, and then after your second game, oh, hey, the sticker is peeling off, or oh, my corners are dinged up. Why did I pay for these again?
So I'm curious. What do you guys think? And John, to you in particular, do you think the fact that that they make puzzles, do you think that's going to help? Like and it's an honest question because I don't know much about the manufacturing process, because a lot of quality control is going to come down to how they're manufactured. Okay.
So one thing I will say is I don't think Ravensburger are producing the Lorcana cards in as much as I don't think they haven't pushed the jigsaw machines over to bring in a card printing machine. So I don't think the actual sort of quality control carries over. I do think Ravensburger as a company does have to have very high QA with something like a jigsaw. The pieces don't fit, the thing's useless, right? So the QA is going to be very high there, and a pretty large scale, which I think is really good. But yeah, this is new ground for them, but there's not many other companies other than the sort of big Cartamundis and stuff who I think may well actually just be printing this for them. But there's only a few other companies there that I would feel comfortable running a card game, really. Whilst Ravensburger haven't got the chops as a card producer, they do have the chops as a largely distributing game manufacturer. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
now,
the good news is they're coming through Alliance. That's a huge bit of news.
Yeah. Now, real quick, before we get going, Mario just rated us on Twitch with a party of 50. So Mario, what's up, dude? I assume Mario stream just ended. So everybody who just came over from Mario, welcome. How's everybody doing today?
So this is all the Digimon
Yep.
deserters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we've got another person from the Glimmer Gang on. We've got Sneaky. We got Sneaky Buffalo. Sneaky, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, good, man.
Sorry, no pretty webcam. We've established that I handle it, so.
Hey, man, no worries. But real quick, Sneaky, give us your quick take on the product line so far. Are you kind of with everybody else where nobody's really surprised? We're just happy to see what we saw.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked for everything that I saw. You know, like everybody else said, fairly standard, but all things that I'm excited to pick up. Except for maybe some sleeves and stuff like I mentioned. And I'm still stuck on the portfolio thing. Like, it's
yeah, we haven't really talked about that yet, but we'll get it. You know what, Sneaky? Why don't you explain for people who don't know what are you talking about?
Yeah, so one of the accessories that they mentioned was a portfolio, which for people that don't know is just a card binder, and it's a 64 card binder with 8 oversized card sleeves, which is just weird and isn't in standard in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
But I think, now that I'm thinking about it, we've been, I've been listening to y'all talk. I think the sleeves as well, because we know most people that are serious TCG people are going to be picking up either Dragon Shields or Katanas more than likely, right? And I think the sleeves and like this folio and things like that be targeted towards the kid audience, because I'm a teacher, and a lot of my kids bring in their oversized cards to school and they show them off. Like, they're super excited about them, and I think they're cool personally, but it's not something I want to stick in a binder. Right. So I think that might be a little bit where that's targeted. I know on Tuesday when this dropped, I was super frustrated because I was working, and as a teacher, you get like 30 seconds to yourself every single at a time. So I'm just like sneaking in, like trying to like get like one little tidbit of info every like hour.
Right.
It was oh man, this whole drop was crazy.
Right.
So I have a postulation about that actually with the oversized binder. So they've said that there's supposed to be 4 sets a year. And guess what? There's 2 oversized cards in the gift set. So my suspicion is that there will probably be a gift set per release, which would mean 8 cards over the course of a 4-year or a single year 4-drop set. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But the fact that the number is 8 is, I think, relevant. And
can we go super speculation and say that over a year we'll have 64 mythic 64 legendary cards then? And that's your binder is the legendaries and the oversized.
That's a lot of legendaries.
12 a set, yeah, that's maybe a little high.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
maybe super rares plus legendaries, maybe.
Yeah.
But that seems
it's a 200 card set. 12 is not that many legendaries, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it
depends. It does kind of work out.
It's a ratio is the standard
maybe it
trading
is.
card set.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
You cracked
it. We'll see.
Lee, what's your take on it? What do you think when it comes to the legendaries? Honestly, guys, I gotta pull up what the rarities are. I know they were mentioned. I just cannot remember for the life of me what they are. I gotta pull it up here.
It's
common,
from like
super
common,
rare,
straight to rare. Yeah, there's no uncommon.
Legendary.
Yeah.
So
common, rare, super rare, legendary.
Okay, so we've got what was it 6? Was that 6?
5.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's not terrible. So, all right. Well, we've got another person sitting here in the green room. So we're gonna get another person. So we've got B squared 24. B squared. Tell everybody where they can find you and let us know what your thoughts are, sir. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. All right. What's going on? How are you?
What's up, guys? Dan, thanks for hosting this. It's awesome to have everybody here together talking about Lorcana. I'm super excited for it. I have a YouTube channel. It's just the same tag as the name here. Same thing for Twitter. It's the tag, but then YT at the end for YouTube. There's not a whole lot of Lorcana content on the YouTube right now. Still working on that, but should have something up this weekend. But yeah.
So what was your, well, first of all, welcome. Good to have you here. But what was your initial take when you saw that that article drop and you saw the products? What was your take? Are you kind of with everybody here? You were like, just oh, that this is very much to be expected.
Yeah, so it was definitely exciting. It's actually, I didn't even know Lorcana was a thing like last weekend. It wasn't it other than somebody in my local game store's Discord posted the IGN article and was saying they were excited about this. So I found it and then found all the products. And so I just got super excited seeing, all the Disney stuff. Had no idea it was a thing. I'm going to call myself a relatively new player to the game. I've collected TCG stuff over the years as a kid, whatever, very familiar with the scene. But recently having actually really starting to play it seriously, I was really excited, honestly, to see the multitude of stuff that's going to be there. I know the things like the booster boxes are normal. The gift set was exciting to see. I'm thinking of kids asking for it for Christmas. It's an easy thing to just throw on a Christmas list and give somebody. The starter decks are going to be really good, I think, for people who are entering the TCG that aren't familiar with the TCG world. I know coming from the TCG that I play, the easiest thing for me to do was just buy a pre-made deck, slot in some cards and start playing. And, depending on prices and that kind of thing, I think it's going to be really easy for parents who have kids that are interested, or maybe even parents that, want to see if their kids are interested in something like a TCG, something really easy for them to pick up. So I know that's kind of standard, but was really excited to see those.
Jonty, I want to go to you real quick.
I just want to say that I'm really jealous of him for getting into it now. We all had to pretend that we cared about an Olaf card for 2 weeks.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. But one thing I will say about the starter decks, I think a lot of people say, no, it's great for new people. We're all new at this, right? We're only going to have 204 cards to build from. We're all going to be cracking packs. Nobody's going to be particularly doing singles straight out the gate. We're all going to have to buy these starter decks and start with those, right? Surely.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to go out and just drop $1,000 on play sets of stuff and go out the bag. We're all going to be playing those starter decks. Man.
Well,
that might be the wrong crowd.
You guys have that. It's just throwing bills around.
Win,
Yeah, that I mean, Lee, you guys even say you're a competitive Lorcana podcast, right? And I messed with you last week, and saying how can you have a competitive Lorcana podcast when number one, especially there's no meta, right? You know nothing, right? So
Jon Snow.
It was all fun and games. It was all fun and games.
Ouch.
But as a competitor, right, and somebody who's looking to get into this from the competitive aspect, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I dabble in Modern for Magic, right? And those, most of those decks are not cheap.
No.
So right. So I feel like a competitive player is gonna come in kind of expecting to spend, a decent amount of money on cards. I mean, correct?
Yeah, anybody that's coming into it competitively is going to have a bankroll. They're going to get probably multiple cases. They're going to crack packs. That they're going to have just the surplus of everything they need, and it's on someone else's dime usually if you're at that level. So,
and then you got Mario in here. Is I'm literally buying everything. Yeah, we know
buying all of it, every bit of it.
We know you are, my guy.
Perks of owning a store, Mario. You get first, first pick, buddy.
Yeah.
So sorry, I don't have any for anybody else.
A wild Erin has appeared.
Yeah. We need the Pokemon. The Pokemon sound. The wild Pokemon appeared, right? Jonty, so you also have a unique vantage point with this too, being working at an LGS.
Oh, yeah. I do. I'm a manager at a store. There is an owner, but we're quite a large store, one of the biggest in Ontario. And there's a, but yeah. So I am massively championing this. I mean, we dip our toe into every game because you kind of have to as an LGS.
Yeah.
Really, you've got to give everyone a chance because you never know what the next big thing is. And the other thing I will say about this kind of thing as well is if you're not first out the gate, the distributors won't come anywhere near you. So if you don't support stuff in the early days, 6 months, a year down the line, and something starts doing quite well, and you try and get hold of product, you've got no chance. We do not sell Pokemon in our store because we didn't because Pokemon came out before the store opened, and you have no chance if you weren't on that list. At the time, it's so tough. We maybe get like a box of each set, a couple of the ETB ones and that, but we get very little Pokemon. But all of the Bandai stuff is huge for us. We have really great turnouts for Digimon, for Dragon Ball. One Piece is doing really good for us at the minute as well. And we're one of the few stores in the city that have pushed for it, and because of which we get a great turnout. So. So that coupled with the fact that I am a massive Disney, you can't quite see it, but that there is a sign that says "Days till Disney," and there's and it says about 200 at the minute because I've timed it perfectly. I actually leave for Disney on August 18th and get back from Disney on September 1st. I don't think anything's happening on either of those days, so I should be
just a little nothing.
Great,
just for you, John.
So in between those two things, I'm really sort of an advocate of this, and I'm pushing it. And the other thing we do in our store is we give each member of staff they become sort of a champion for a game or two in the store. So
that's cool.
So this year, Rivenstone is my miniature game, which is a miniature game coming out by Broken Anvil later in the summer, and then Lorcana is my card game, and that's sort of my job to be the hype man in the store for those two things. Yeah,
that's cool. All right, Sugi,
I to the Barracks Action podcast.
Yes, I do. It's very good.
Yes, right. Sugi. I know you got to get out of here soon.
Yeah.
So is there anything before you leave? Is there anything you wanted to touch on? You wanted to ask any of us to get our thoughts on real quick?
Ooh, what a great question. So in regards to the set announcement, I think a great talking point before I get on out of here and get some food is Gen Con. We have an official announcement that Gen Con is going to be the first point in which we can get our hands on product. Now, we don't know what that product is, but I think that'd be a fun topic to speculate about because I'm guessing that there is going to be a tournament there. Now, whether that's true or not, we'll find out. But I'm guessing there's going to be a sealed event, which would probably mean you're going to have a starter deck of choice. And if they do it Magic style, you'd get 4 to 6 booster packs. And then you build a sealed deck and you do round robin or Swiss pairings, probably like a 5 to 7 round. And then they'll probably do like a top cut. So I think that's the most interesting thing to talk about because there's so many pretty obvious discussions that can be extrapolated from that IGN article. But let's talk about that real fast before, got to get on out of here. What do you think?
Well, what do you think first? I want to know, do you think there's going to be other product outside of what they announced at Gen Con available to purchase?
No, I think what they announced is probably what is going to be just industry standard.
Right.
Mostly because a lot of the artists and people part of the team are starting to come out and go, hey, I worked on this, which would infer that was the maximum capacity of product. Also, I cannot see Ravensburger printing more than what they announced because what else would they print? Like, I mean, legitimately, what else could they possibly have outside of, boosters, an ETB, a booster box, a starter set?
They could do like a Gen Con sleeve around the boxes, which is something you get sometimes, and maybe at a discounted price. But I don't see them making any products.
there should be a promo card at Gen Con that they're going to announce.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be the D23 ones, but they've took a Sharpie to them. And
I hope not.
Somebody's just sitting in their office scribbling on them, just over and over.
A whiteout and writing in Gen Con at the bottom.
The Gen Con, I want a Gen Con exclusive, a D23 sloppy second.
I guess that's another question. Do we think that there's going to be like specific promos for Gen Con?
Yes.
Or okay.
There'll be a card
foil,
at least. Or something. Yeah.
Well, I mean, with a different treatment.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking like
booster pack. We'll wager booster pack. I think it's Sorcerer and Mickey.
Oh. Okay.
I think that's the Gen Con special.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Now,
Mickey makes sense.
I don't know. We get Sorcerer and Mickey in the starter deck, so like
probably
maybe something different.
A Brave Little Taylor in the red deck. I mean, it's
Sorcerer Mickey is on the packaging for one of the starter decks, so we're getting a foil one of him in the starter deck. But like foil treatment or Gen Con at the bottom, like that
or they could legendary treatment him. We don't know what the foiling for those are.
Yeah, we're like, and again, for everybody listening, typically, because one of the things that they've already talked about and announced, they're not going to have a mechanically unique card. Promo card that you can only get at certain events. Right?
Although there is one now, technically, Maleficent's D23 is mechanically unique because they've changed the text on it now.
Yeah.
You've got to go look at now. You didn't watch my video today, did you?
They made it better.
No,
they made it better.
The D23 Maleficent says target opponent's character, but the new one just says a character, doesn't mention opponent. So it's now in line with the Dragonfire card itself. Just says
okay, so it says chosen opposing character instead.
It doesn't say opposing anymore.
Oh, it doesn't say opposing anymore. Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they changed the templating to be more streamlined.
Okay,
but technically,
but it is
about
exactly it 100%. That is definitely mechanically.
You can hit yourself now.
You can hit
unless, and this is the only thing I mentioned in my video. Unless the overriding rule is that you can't do that to your own cards, right? Like that is still a possibility. I know, but I'm just trying to cover every base so I don't get angry comments in my videos. You have to kind of cover it,
nerds.
Right. If you guys haven't seen
going back
that
to the
video,
promos.
Go watch that. John T, if you can find that link, go ahead and drop it in the chat for people to go see that. Also sub his channel. Now the other thing, we'll get to you in a second, Sneaky. But guys, there's this question from Steggy. I wonder if Gen Con will have the starter decks for people to demo. What do you think?
100%.
They better.
100%.
Smart.
I agree.
To purchase
on it, definitely.
Yeah, I believe you will be able to take home the starter decks 100%. You will be able to. I think you won't be able to like buy multiple of each deck, but you will be able to buy one of each deck. I think that is my thought process.
So do you think they're going to limit people as far as
they
have to.
Because
usually at Gen Con, your badge has got like a QR code, and it'll be they
scan it.
Yeah,
that's the same thing they did at D23.
Yeah,
for like the promo.
Because like someone could come in, buy a bunch of it, and then go sell it on eBay for way more money than it's worth.
Which they're going to do already.
Well,
people are going to do that no matter what.
D23 in the promo sets, I think.
Yeah, I think the only saving grace there is it's literally 2 weeks until the actual release, so it's not like it's they're not going to be. But yeah, still, scalper's going to scalp, right?
There will be people who didn't go to Gen Con and still want that before like the 18th or the 1st.
Yeah,
that will be willing to purchase it on eBay or something.
Right.
Stores.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sneaky, what were you going to say before I so rudely cut you off?
Oh no. You're propping up John T, which I'm totally down with. No, so I was just thinking. Here's
my room and coke is empty, so I'm gonna go and grab another one.
All right, let's talk about him while his headset's off.
Listen, man. Yeah, totally. No, I mean, big props to John T because he was the first. Like you mentioned earlier, he was the first Lorcana content creator I watched. Big fan.
Yeah, me too.
But no, here's my thoughts on the promos. So we've got confirmation for 2 characters that are attached to accessories that we have not seen in anything else. So here's my thoughts. Maui and Evil Queen promos Gen Con.
Maybe. I mean, that's I see where you got that too, because they talked about the Maui playmat, and then they just showed Evil Queen, right? Let me.
She's
I've
on
got
some
it
of the
actually.
art.
Yeah, she's on one of the artworks.
It's sexy Evil
And
Queen.
for
I think she's only on the first chapter announcement banner on the page. I don't think she's on any of the products.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So we've got it right here. I don't know. Liam and Aaron, you guys are the art people. Do we know who? Can you tell who did that artwork for Evil Queen?
So we'll guess, but we want to preface this
Yes.
with, ever since the first few cards came out, the marketing team has explicitly cracked down on artist announcements, and I think they have a plan for those. In fact, there's slight indication that Nick wasn't supposed to reveal what he did about his participation after the announcement. So, which is why you haven't seen anybody else step forward to claim Hades and Mulan. So there is a marketing purpose.
They're
behind
locked
these
in a
artists.
German basement currently.
Yeah. Of course, if
We
there's
should
an artist with the cred to break the rules, it's Nick, who's probably, as we said, he definitely set the tone for probably this entire game. And you can see his style reflected in all the artwork, no matter who did the art. I mean, it would only be speculation on the Queen. We know it's not Nick, or he would have claimed it.
Right. Right.
And
it might be John.
we can rule
Sorry,
out.
I'm gonna look really close. You're about to get like a super close up of Aaron.
Come on, we'll all do it. It's okay. We'll all do it so you don't feel uncomfortable.
I do feel like it is.
Pokemon Battle. All right.
I can definitely see that being
And-
John Lauren.
John Lauren would be my guess too. And here's the other thing I'll say. Like we have to be careful speculating on some of the artists. We have to be careful about speculating on some of the artists.
Have you been approached? Have you been approached? Blink twice.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely like a script somewhere that they have to read from.
Yeah, there's somebody with cue cards right on the other side of that camera.
Just watch
So,
the look.
I
Can we
will
zoom
say-
into the eyes?
I'll leave it at this. What I can say is like the artists have been very gracious in their interviews with us, and we've
Right.
been trying very careful to comply with
Right.
the NDAs. We don't want to guess correctly and
Yeah.
have the marketing team think that we know something.
No, that's fair.
No.
I will say
that's
that does
fair.
look like John, and we haven't interviewed John yet, so I have
That's
no
fair.
idea
There we go.
if it is John.
Yeah.
John Lauren is our guess.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is I love that art. I mean, and it's just upper body. It's I mean like we're all card game players here, and like I feel like we all have a humongous appreciation for artwork on these cards that we play. I was thinking about I think from our last conversation, I can't remember who we were talking to, but about artists and who Disney would approve of. Who, if you guys know who Seb McKinnon is, yeah, he would never be able to work on this IP. And that's not a knock, because Seb McKinnon is an amazing fantasy artist. But yeah, I don't think he would. I don't think Disney would approve of his artwork for their brand.
I think we're gonna get.
It's
they don't
true.
match
Like
very well.
Disney
They're gonna get a Dumbo roasted on a spit or something like that. That's what I think Seb would do, right? But I think one thing I will say is I think like I've not seen any card yet that's made me go. Oh. Like everyone, like they've all been a little safe, maybe, but that kind of makes sense with it being a first set, and they really like you say, Liam and Aaron, they're trying to get a foundation to build on, right? So, but I've not seen anything that's made me go, oh, I don't like that. Whereas half of the new Phyrexia set that's coming out for Magic has made me go, ooh, like
So we had a conversation with Ryan Pancoast actually recently, and who's a Magic artist for those in the game, and he actually approached Ravensburger about being involved in the game, and it ended up not working out just because his art style was too different. But there's indication that a lot of the art restrictions are coming straight from Disney, as we all would guess.
Absolutely, 100%.
And so the contract, with Ravensburger, it restricts them to portraying the characters in a very specific way. So which one I understand setting a tone for the first step, but two, I think Disney's being very cautious with the art for the first step and keeping it
traditional,
on brand. And
Yeah,
who knows,
right.
years later, we could see it branch out into different stylized characters.
I mean, they're certainly happy doing it a bit. If you look at things like Mirrorverse and stuff, they're definitely happy to move away from stuff. But like, I never think we'll see straight up, like heel switches or anything. That I don't think we'll ever see like an evil Mickey or anything like that. But I definitely feel like once they're established, they'll let them go a bit further out. But I still think it's going to stay very much into that sort of core classic animation studio style.
Yeah, I think the Aladdin art is probably as far as they're going to push it for this set.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like when I saw that art, I was like, oh wow,
it's
that's different. It like takes you a second.
I couldn't tell it was.
Aladdin, is that Eric?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Really,
yeah,
Sneaky?
I could tell. The hair, man. Look at the hair.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
yeah,
that's very different.
that's like the first thing. Like for Aladdin, that's like one of the first things that I typically can tell for Aladdin. But I mean, like let's keep talking about the art. Like for all of these, I feel like Aladdin was pretty different, and then you got like Aurora, right? Like this looks like Aurora, but like she's never been portrayed at all as like a sorceress. Or
Princess Control is real. Get ready.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess
sure,
we got another one. Steggy says he couldn't tell it was Aladdin at first glance either. So all right. I love Maleficent.
I want that as a playmat. Ravensburger.
Yes,
I love that
Maleficent playmat would be
I
good.
love that she's in blue.
Okay. Well, first of all,
it's happening.
Well, first of all, Sugi, which one of these arts was your favorite? So we've got I think
Batman.
it starts.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, Batman is always allowed and is always a correct answer. So
Okay,
yes.
Batman. I want that Rachel artwork. No, in all sincerity, I thought that Aurora was really well done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of accoutrement. There's a lot going on there visually.
Yeah.
I'm very much into very yin yang style, so I like seeing a lot of things happening, but a primary focus. So I think this piece of art's really brilliant. There's just so much you can enjoy. On the flip side of that, though, I really like the Moana art. I think it's just super laid back. There's a lot of color. There's a lot of texture. So I actually professionally paint in miniatures. So thinking like Warhammer, stuff like that. So like it's a very flat, two-dimensional piece of art. But if you really like sit and look at it and then, put on some music in the background, it's a really well-defined piece of art. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of texture. There's a lot of detail. There's a story going on here, but it's very subtle. And you have to dissect it from the piece of art. So I liked both of those quite a bit.
Yeah. Lee.
Yes, sir.
Which one was your favorite? If you had to pick a favorite of these,
I'd probably say Simba.
Simba.
Yeah. It's a lot more powerful than you've seen Simba before, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like this is very much reminiscent of Mufasa to me.
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah.
What if
it's Simba as Mufasa is kind of what was my thought. Teddy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Liam.
No. I was gonna say the fun part about this piece is the giraffes in the background. They're in a very unnatural position facing each other, which leads you to believe there's some sort of ceremony going on, or they're showing respect for. There's something going on here, and so it's Mufasa or Simba in his king role, not in his king days.
Right. Teddy.
I have has it been officially confirmed that this is Simba? Has this been said somewhere?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Because could it in reality? It could be Mufasa. That's like something I just thought of. I don't.
But it is Simba though.
Pretty sure that's
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why I know it is, but it just is.
Yeah.
I
could see that because
it's the look on his face. Is what it sounds.
I think the facial structure gives it away.
The IGN.
Does the art? Let's see if.
Oh man, the conspiracy theorist. Here we
go. Well, the IGN article listed.
No, it says it right here, guys. It says up here.
On the
top right.
There it is.
Top right specifically says Simba in Disney Lorcana.
Yep.
All right. I didn't. So yeah.
Teddy, do you play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Hmm.
Teddy, do you play Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, I do not.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Because
That's
you
weird.
guys are notorious for being incomparable and unable to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we make that joke all the
That's
time.
ironic when I'm a sports media and journalism major, and all I work with is words, but that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I was like, if you said you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I'd be like, I am too. I can't read either.
Yeah.
But no, my favorite art would probably be Simba or Aurora, just because obviously I think they're in the same deck, and that's like the deck I want to play the starter deck I want to play the most, and I think
Me too.
just those two side by side are pretty dang good.
Jonty, what about you?
You're all wrong. It's Aladdin.
That rum and coke is getting
I
to his
believe
head.
that's your own opinion, man.
Yes,
That
it is.
rum and coke is
You're
getting to his
welcome
head.
to your
He's on take 2 on the rum and coke.
No, Aladdin's my favorite, but partly just because I'm a huge fan of Aladdin. Like that was like that prime age for me was Aladdin, you know. But I really like the subtle change to show us how they're going to be able to keep reprinting the same characters. They're going to be able to do things like this, and this is clearly inspired by Aladdin's dad. From King of Thieves, from
correct.
the movie, very similar,
absolutely.
And that's
a deep cut. That's a deep cut for all you folks at home.
Straight to VHS. That one, that was that.
Yeah, but it was so good though.
Can I?
It was, dude.
Can I talk about this for just a quick second?
Yeah, it was so good.
The one note on this, like we know from Elsa's flavor text, the characters don't like when they come out of their storybooks, they're surprised, and so they don't know about Lorcana in their world. Aladdin, like Sorcerer Mickey, is wearing his color, his ink color crest here. We covered this in our video, but to me, this means that like we know Sorcerer Mickey's picture is of him in the Lorcana world because we see him coming out of the storybook in the promo or whatever. This is a picture of Aladdin, not in Agrabah, or at the very least, he's been to the Lorcana world before. But we think this is one of the only pictures of a character that has been either outside his storybook and returned, or we're seeing him in the world of Lorcana because of that crest.
Do you think we're going to see much of a narrative? They have mentioned that there will be a story. Do we think that's going to be like? Are we going to see some web fiction? Are we, are they going to actually try and make this into a
I hope so.
I hope. I think just being like from that background of being a writer and that stuff, it would be really cool to have like, because they can go so many different ways with the Floodborn, Storyborn, and what's the last one? Dreamborn. Yeah. They can make totally new versions of these characters. It's essentially the Disney multiverse now in a way. And so I would really hope that they would. And it seems like they are, and they definitely have the outs to do that. It's just, do they have a team working on that right now? Or is that something they look for down the line?
So I'm also wondering, Teddy, as you mentioned, like, as you're talking about the Borns, one of the things that I was kind of, after we saw these cards with Sorcerer Mickey and Aladdin, are they going to release another Born? Because if you think about the fact, if they're living in the world of Lorcana, they don't really fit into any of the buckets that we're predicting are Dreamborn, Floodborn, and Storyborn. Like, this is kind of yet another iteration of those characters. And so is there a fourth that we haven't figured out yet?
Loreborn, that just came to my head, like right here, like, or even like just Lorcana born.
You heard it first. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Loreborn, and what was the other one, Teddy?
Lorcana born. Those are my bets.
All right, place your bets now.
But no, I could definitely see. I see where you're coming from. I definitely could see that, like, being some, like you guys said, like Liam said, people who have, or the characters who have been in the Lorcana world for some time now. I could 100% see them having a different, like, they've developed into, in like, there's like, I don't know the movie, but there are like different types of movies. Like, if you stay in a world too long, you stay in that world forever. So I could see them, like, maybe, like, it's not they're trying to get out, but like if they stay there too long, they start to become part of the Lorcana world more than they are their home.
Okay.
Nice. Because of the movie, right?
All right. B squared. Who? Which one of these was your favorite artwork?
So if we're talking exclusively the art on the
Yes.
IGN article, it
Yes.
is Maleficent for me, like hands down.
Okay. Oh, there it was. All right. And why'd you pick Maleficent? Curious.
Just something like, for one, the art style in general. I mean, most of this art style feels very nostalgic of, like, you know, what I grew up watching Disney. But I don't know, just like the smirk, like the crow in the background, it just, like, she looks like has something planned. You know what I mean? Like she's I can't think of the word right now, but just, I don't know. I love blue as a color in general, and it was kind of interesting to see a villain character in a blue hue, because I mean, just like typically, I don't feel like you see that a whole lot. Usually it's sort of like red is villain, blue is hero or whatever.
Right.
So I kind of liked that too. Interesting to see where she lands on the Bourne field. But yeah, Maleficent.
Yeah. You just touched on
Every villain
like
is
color theory a
Lime?
little bit. John T, 1 second, but before we continue, Sugi's got to get out of here. So real quick, Sugi, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And you got any final thoughts before you get out of here?
I think this was what the community needed desperately. There was just way too much downtime. There was way too much silence. And no offense to Disney Lorcana, but there was way too much teasing. Like saying soon again, I felt it was kind of mean, because like I know that the metaphor with putting bread in the oven was funny, but we laugh because it's kind of like, I'm used to a lot of big name marketing where they say, hey, we have an announcement on this week or this date, and then they don't say anything and you just wait because you're really excited. They build up the hype by giving you a specified time. And then Disney Lorcana was like, soon. Is it today? No. How about tomorrow? No. How about next week? No. And so there was just so many gaps. It was kind of like, all right, maybe we need to use different vernacular here. So the fact that we got this huge announcement that's just filled with so much stuff and a lot of really good stuff. They could have easily had an announcement with some pandering content and some willy-nilly stuff, but this was a really, really meaty, like, you know, beef stew level stuff. Like there's potatoes, there's beef, there's you know, like there's vegetables.
You can tell he's hungry, can't you?
I am hungry. I'm hungry. Really hungry.
Well, luckily there is a chef present.
Camera back.
Yeah,
love it. Yeah. But you know, jokes aside, I really think this is a good starting point because it gets people in. Also, if you look at the Twitter feed, I think it says 156,000 people looked at that post. That's a lot of people compared to what we were having before. So numbers are rising, communities are growing. This is a good sign.
Well, look at B Squared. This is probably going to be the first time a lot of people have even heard of it, right? You know, and they could have just given us a date. Like they literally could have just said, "Oh yeah, stuff available at Gen Con's coming out in August." Like, and you know, they could have just done that. So
Right. So, all right. Well, Sugi, thanks for being here, and we hope to talk to you soon, sir.
Adios, guys.
See you later, brother.
Good one.
Take care.
I just want to bring up what Sugi just said with like 156,000. Was it that he said looked at it? I just checked. It's now 658,000 have looked at it.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So well, depending on which, I think the tweet that Sugi was referring to, again, like just to be fair here, was this the IGN article, which does say 155, roughly 155K. Which
I was looking at the one.
So you're talking about the pinned one.
It's
this
still
one
a lot.
Correct. No, right. But still, this is close to 700K, right? But this was tweeted, I believe, well after, like at the end of the day, like announcing what all the products were. So, John T, did you say what you wanted to say right there, or did you have
the moments passed? But I was just going to say that Maleficent's pet is not a crow; it's a raven. Like I'm that guy that was going to eat away at me if I didn't point it out.
He wasn't going to get any sleep tonight.
I was not.
He wasn't.
I tell you what, and I anyone know what his name is?
No, I don't think he has a name.
Yes, he does. His name's Diablo.
Is it? Is it Diablo?
Yeah, it is Diablo.
Okay, that shows you how much I know. So
we're all true Disney fans here.
True. Oh yeah. Okay, Liam and Aaron, we did not get to your favorites. So as I pull it up here, what were some of your guys' favorite arts?
Of the new stuff that's been released.
Yeah, so of this artwork that was released in the article, which one? I feel like an idiot because I've got everybody saying Diablo. Yeah, dude, it's Diablo. My bad,
man.
dude. I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I had no idea.
But can you name Prince Charming's horse?
Oh no,
Ed?
Prince Charming's horse.
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Oh, it is
It's-
Jonathan. It is Jonathan, right?
Samson.
Samson.
Jonathan. I was. If anybody's
What
seen the
what is
Paul-
Jonathan? Jonathan is
It's
something
the
I know.
Paul
It's
Rudd
the-
article when he's
Mjolnir.
asked what Mjolnir's name is, he says Jonathan instead of actually trying to guess what it is.
So
anyway, go ahead.
I was gonna say favorite. I'll let Aaron is stewing on this for a moment. I'm with John T. I think Aladdin, for two reasons. I love the fact that he's wearing the colors, the ink color, and it's really intriguing to me, and I want to know why. And two, I really hope that there's place for Disney to allow artists to explore different variations of characters. And so I love that Aladdin is the furthest from the movie that we've seen of a character, I think. And I love this exploration of like this alternate version of him. So I think John T and I see eye to eye on this one.
For me, I think it's a tie between Maleficent and Mulan. Actually, I really liked the
Mulan.
the level of detail in the Mulan art. I just
They both look awesome. Those two new ones, by the way. I can't wait to see better versions of those. The Mulan and the Hades looks, and I would say probably Hades is the most far stretched one from the original.
Those
so
luscious
far,
golden
it's-
locks.
Yeah.
It's him winning, right? Like it's
Yeah.
it's it's the complete opposite of the story. So, but
It would be interesting if we saw like a Hercules card where he's just like being controlled by Hades or something, like they're basically reversing it. I could see something like that.
I would have been, and honestly, I'm very interested to know, like in that universe, okay, in this universe, do we even have Hercules? Like when did Hades beat like take over Olympus?
yeah, you think this is first time round kind of thing?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
So who knows?
So
Again, so many questions.
Do you think we've got the text right on those two?
I believe so. So this is coming from, for folks who I'm not sure if it's in the article directly.
You can you
I
see
know
them.
I know where else I can find it.
Yeah.
But it's at least towards the bottom. Here it is. So we're gonna do this and
zoom enhance.
Yeah, enhance. So this is where it came from. I think what's on Lorcana is correct. I think. What does everyone else think? So let's go ahead, Teddy.
I think it's very close to being correct, but it does look like both of the cards are cut off by just the artwork.
They are.
I know. Yeah. So like I'm just saying like when I look at it, it doesn't look like you can fully see it to me, but that's just how I see it. I don't know.
You can't fully see it. There are like one or two lines that are that were filled in essentially. So, but again, I do think what's on Lorcana is correct. So Mulan, again, what's on Lorcana reads, lead by example. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, your other characters get +1 pips, lore, whatever that's called, this turn. That's what Mulan reads. Does anyone think that's not right?
I don't know. I like it. Maybe I feel like the last line of both of these is a guess.
Correct.
It's probably a really good shot at what it is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm looking at like a zoomed in, zoom enhanced version of Mulan right now, and the only words that you can't read are the words between character NA and then up to characters get +1. So like during your here's the words I can read. During your turn, Whenever this character banishes another character in a blank, your other characters get +1 pip this, and then you can't read anything else after that. So it's literally like we're just context cluing
couple words, yeah,
3 or 4 words.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Hades, again, similar. I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 things you can't read for Hades. If I'm correct.
It's just
but
the word villain that you can't read Hades. So that's the only one.
Okay. Yeah. So one other thing that I noticed, the cost, that cost area, who knows? What do you guys think is this up here? So, right. So behind the cost, it's essentially blank, right? But on all the other cards, you've got this thing behind it.
Except for Dragonfire.
Yep.
Correct. Dragonfire is as well. Is just like Hades. Theories. Who's got theories? Come on. I know you've all got theories. Come on, guys.
I got one.
I feel like go ahead.
Oh, you can go, B.
I feel like it could be like so many things. I mean, we've had huge discussions in the Discord over this. I did see an interesting tweet today, though, that suggested maybe it had something to do with the amount of that card you could put in your deck. So let's say you can put 4 of a card in your deck. Like maybe it's just, you can only have 1 copy. Not sure how I feel about that for the spell, because I would think the spell would probably be something you'd want maybe more than 1 of. It doesn't seem like that strong of a spell, but I thought it was an interesting idea.
Okay. Teddy, what were you going to say? Go ahead, sir.
So I could see it as like maybe those are the type of cards that the cost can be manipulated on, because maybe because like with the Dragonfire, maybe there is a way that like a card we haven't seen that can bring that cost down. And then like I know like with what Hades says, maybe that is like a card that the cost can be manipulated.
Okay. All right. Who's got other? I have no idea. Like I've got initially I was, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
I got 2.
All right, let's hear it, Jonty.
Wow, 2.
Hades is an amber card as far as deck construction limitations are concerned, but it can be played using either color of amber as a cast. So however we end up being able to cast, whether those are cards in the deck or tokens we gather, they're going to be color coded, and you need to use those colors to cast that color card. But for some reason, Dragonfire and Hades can be cast with the other color that's in your deck. That's one. Yeah. My other one that I'm leaning more towards is Occam's Razor, and it's a misprint.
It's a misprint.
Yeah, and it happens already. They've changed the words on stuff. I think it's just that actually characters have the more detailed symbol, non-characters have the simple one, and it's just a misprint, and it'll be fixed when they actually get the boxes out.
Right.
I'm leaning towards the latter.
Yeah. I think we're reading too much into a lot of this, to be honest. Yeah.
We need more news to talk about. We're getting too deep into it.
There's something else that bothers me about Amber, and I can't figure out. The first time they displayed all the colors and we made our color video, I created this little amber hexagon to put around the amber color symbol, and I was like, this must be a mistake. All the others have this one must too. And then I realized I must be wrong, because consistently all of the amber symbols leave that hexagon off.
Yeah,
every other color has them on, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah, it's weird. Eh?
That's a
Well,
I thought
both amber cards we've seen have been
flood.
Sorry,
with shift.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, have been floodborn, and clearly tell. Yeah, I was gonna say both of the amber cards we've seen have been floodborn, and you can clearly tell that the floodborn like border design is different from everybody else's. So it's hard whether to attribute that to amber or to floodborn.
I do think that's interesting that like maybe all amber, like this shift mechanic is more important in the game than just being another keyword like evasive, and it's more of a key component of it, like Pokemon. The only thing I don't think it's that is because I wouldn't imagine one of the starter decks to be half that color, because I feel like it would play very differently to the other ones then. You know what I mean? Like if one starter deck was all about replaying cards over the top of others, and then the other two didn't do that, that's the only reason I don't think that Amber is specifically just the shift or floodball mechanic, just only because of the starter decks.
Mario says it's too soon to tell, but Amber seems like the wild card color. Interesting.
That's
Yeah,
and I
interesting.
agree. The fact that we've only the two that we've seen have been the arguably the wildest arts and the wildest variations, and they're both the shifts and they're both the Floodborn. The only reason I don't think it's that is because it's only features in one of the starters.
Right. And I will say, God, dude, I love Hades' hair. I love the hair in this, dude. It's like, it is so. Hades is also like one of my favorite characters in all of the Disney animated movies. I like James Woods. I love his voice.
Yeah, it's great.
He has
his energy, everything.
It was
about
a
him.
perfect casting, in my opinion, for Hades. And just did an amazing job. And like, when I look at this card, I cannot help but hear James Woods' voice, like yelling at me, right? Yeah. So I
totally agree. I mean, Robin Williams gets a lot of the sort of starlight as being the best ever voice actor for a Disney role, and quite rightly so, honestly. But yeah, James Woods, like, it's as if they just like followed him around, recorded him, right, and just made Hades around him. And Jerry Orbach as well, who did
Jerry Orbach,
Beauty and the Beast again. The other one, the three of them, just they kill it.
I mean, if that's, Jonty, what you're using to predict like what is a good voice actor, like following them around and recording them, I would say the girl who played Boo in Monsters Inc.
Right? They literally did that, right?
They did that, yeah. They literally did that, yeah.
I mean, it's just her being her.
Yeah.
They've carried that on there. There's a show. It's not actually produced by Disney, but it's on Disney Plus. It's called Bluey. I don't know if any of you have got young kids.
Everybody loves Bluey, man.
Oh,
My
okay.
kids,
I didn't know if it really broken out.
I'm a college student and I love that show.
I have
Bluey transcends the ages, man.
Yeah, I have a 5-year-old who's obsessed with it, but it's the one show that I will happily sit and watch. And like, I'll find myself watching it, and he's been in bed for 30 minutes, and I'm like, oh god, I'm still watching Bluey. But they do that. But there you go. There's I've got to go.
Actually, Liam, you should go get our real life Bluey character.
We don't have kids. This is for us.
No, that's fine. I for a second I went to grab our one, but then realized that my kid was asleep cuddling it, and I thought that's just too much, right? Just for a but yeah, they do the same with that. The voice actors of the kids are uncredited, and they're just the kids of the animators. They're just the kids of the staff, and they just get them in to record a line. So that's obviously the way to do it with kids, at least.
All right. Well, before we continue, we're gonna get the Mr. Cephalid Pigeon on here.
This is
before we do that,
Chili Healer.
Nice. Hello.
Not a clue what's going on.
Put me down, Mom.
Am I getting fed or walked or
put me down? All right. We're gonna get Cephalid Pigeon on here. Knive. What's up, Knive?
Hey, Knive.
Greetings.
What's up,
guy?
There he is.
How you guys doing?
All right.
Knive was dying in the green room during that Hades discussion.
Yeah, he was.
No, I was more hyped about the Bluey discussion. Me and my wife are binge watching that right now.
Guys, he just said him and his wife binge watching Bluey. Awesome. Love it, dude. Love it. All right. Knive, I'm going to ask you the same questions we've asked everybody else. So the first question was the product lineup. What was your take on all the products that were announced? Were you surprised? Were you kind of expecting everything that you saw? What did you think of the lineup?
I think the lineup is pretty good. I mean, the lineup is good for the first set. I'm kind of confused on where the gift set's supposed to sit. Okay. Overall, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, it's like a dual deck kind of thing. And then I looked into it more, and it's like, it's a gift set. It's 4 packs and some oversized cards.
Mm-hmm.
As a person who kind of looks at stuff like this as like monetary financial math guy, like this really doesn't make much sense to me, but maybe it's just not for me. Okay. Otherwise, everything else was great. I love it. I love all 6 colors are represented in starter decks. I love that the booster boxes are 24 packs, which is a norm across a majority of TCGs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The price is a little scary, but I think that's just with the tax that's already added in and euros to dollars.
Do you know what? I'm not sure it is, because I've had a look at other games in Germany, and they're not that expensive. That is expensive even for Germany.
Okay.
Now has the price has not been confirmed yet, has it? I mean, I know it's been like
not the US price.
It's in an official press release from Ravensburg, Germany, for the German prices in euro.
Okay. All right.
And it's probably just the Disney tax.
And also, I think it is where we're moving as well, honestly. Like, booster packs of playing cards have not gone up in price much, over the years. And I think a new one with such a strong IB coming out of the gate are probably just going to think, well, we can get more for this. And I unfortunately, I think the trend will be that everyone else catches up rather than Lorcana comes down to meet them.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say, with the new Scarlet and Violet expansion for Pokemon, the prices have gone off over 50 cents for that in their booster packs. So, John T, I think you're right that the pack costs will start to go up.
Magic announced an 11% price increase across their product line this year as well. So
yeah. At least there's MSRP. At least there's an MSRP.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have a video coming. I have a video coming about this whole thing.
For those who don't know, in Magic, have they come back? They haven't come back to MSRP.
Nope.
I don't believe.
MSRP.
They dropped it in 2019.
Yeah. So they don't have any MSRP, and people are free to make up whatever kind of price they want.
They're free to go send it straight to Amazon.com and undersell LGSs. That's what they're free to do.
And also, it's not even that. Like, LGSs themselves, there is a store near us that will not be named that pretty much makes about $5 on a box.
Oh, goodness.
On a box?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to get people through the door.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they can because, no
MSRP. All right, Knive. What is your? We talked about the characters and artwork that was spoiled in the article. What was your favorite character art from this?
I have to say the sapphire arts of Maleficent and Aurora. I don't know what it is about that blue, but it catches my eye and it catches something inside me in there that I just really like that color as it pops.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a sucker for these blue-ish colors, right? Now, but before we move on, Teddy's got to get out of here. So, Teddy, do you have any? You got any final thoughts, sir?
I'm just really excited. I think this, like everybody said, this was like the news. I think I'd say we deserved it in a way. Like, just after this is definitely the biggest. In a way.
We earned this.
He threw in the in a way. He threw it in there.
But just like it excites us. It gets, obviously, like B Squared, it got him in within a week. And so it's bringing more people to the game, and I think that's the greatest thing that they need, is to keep ramping this up. And I'm 100% there you go, like Mario said.
Not the news we needed, it's the news we deserved.
But yeah, I'm excited. This was definitely a good week for Lorcana, and I can't wait for the rest of it. So I will see you all later.
All right. Thanks, Teddy. Take care. We'll see you later, dude. All right. Okay. So
can we just briefly go back to the rules on the two new cards, the Hades and the Mulan?
Hades and Mulan.
So if we're, because I was asking if we're pretty sure that's right. So if we're pretty happy with that, at least for now, like, is that not huge? Like, I feel like this is. I feel like we know the win conditions there, right?
Yeah,
yes, correct. I feel like these rules are more important than any other card we've seen, because everything else we've seen has just been sort of like board interaction. I feel.
Yes.
This seems to be like, hey, look, this is how you win.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now there isn't, again, for everybody, like, there isn't confirmation per se that we're talking about win condition, but this is something that is a huge and incredibly important, at least it seems to be, gameplay mechanic. Mm-hmm. Like, it's pretty clear that and we all knew from the get-go when we saw it, we're like, okay, these clearly mean something. And I mean, I think right from the start there was that theory. I mean, the theory was basically like lore. You're gaining lore essentially, and that was pretty quick. Now seeing these, like John T, like, are you kind of like set on that train?
Yeah, 100%.
Like lore.
So I've never thought that they were rarity. I know that was a thing that went around, and I've never thought that they were like a pitching cost. No, I never thought it was any of that. I always thought that this was going to be X of these down on the board is either win condition or at least, you know, something that you want to happen. Right. Mostly because they've always initially said that this is not going to be a completely like full on competitive game. And having played Villainous quite a bit, a lot of the win conditions have X amount of things down. You know, King John is have so much coins down. The Queen of Hearts,
the easiest character to play in the entire game, but he's fun. But
yeah, a lot of them have this kind of like, you are trying to do X, and your opponent can affect that. But but you aren't, and I feel like that's the level of competitiveness that we're going to see in this game. So yeah, straight away, I thought that they were going to be the thing that we needed lots of, and these two cards just confirm that now. Right. The only thing I think we really need to know now is at what point it's counted. At what, you know, at like, is there going to be a way to affect? Because if it's going to be, you need 20 of these things to win, and there's not that much interaction, you can play Hades and just win. And that doesn't seem like a neat design.
Right.
It doesn't seem like it's not going to be a fun win condition, right? So I feel like there has to be some kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think Mulan specifically has kind of turned the theory crafting on how that works like on its head, or at least gotten more specific, because the prevailing theory for a long time has been something on the lines of, you tap your characters, they go on quests, and then at the beginning of your turn, whichever ones survive and don't get banished, you'll score lore. But with the way Mulan's worded, that's clearly not the case. So it's spawned a lot more theories in terms of how the win condition, or how lore can turn into a win condition, and how that could play out within the game.
It's crazy how the words "this turn" at the end just really throw that up, right? Because that's all it is, right?
In all of card games too.
Yeah. Until end of turn, right? How much of a difference that can make?
Exactly. Yeah. So, all right, who's willing to put money? Who's willing to put money on it? Is you're going on a quest, and then it's count. Well, okay, Sneaky, are you? No, because you did say you don't think that's going to be the case as far as once it gets back to your turn, whoever as many survive, that's when you count it up. But it's got to be.
I've got my new theory.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so here's my new theory, and this is based off of some other games. I know we had some more gamers in here, so maybe like Marvel Crisis Protocol. But so my theory is that now it's going to be kind of a think like the memory gauge WinCon. It's going to work is at the end of your turn, you'll score points based off the amount of lore you have on the field, untapped, more than your opponent. And so say your opponent started the turn up with 3 lore, and you score this turn. Well, now the slider's going to come over to you to 2. And if at any either player has X amount, let's say 10 lore at a time, they win the game. Or there's going to be a timer at turn, whoever has the most lore wins. And that's kind of coming from my wargaming background. And I think it'd be interesting to see that applied into card games.
So it's a memory gauge, but not used as a resource. It's the memory gauge that's essentially continuously tracked for points. Essentially,
I definitely like the idea of having the win condition being to have more X amount more than your opponent, rather than just a fine number to hit. Because if it's just a final number to hit, it just becomes a race, right? And all you do is build a deck that's just who can get them out quicker,
who can get there first,
right?
Exactly.
Whereas having to have that gap between you and the opponent, that's where the interaction naturally comes from. That's a much neater design space to be working in, I think.
And flavor wise, it kind of makes sense, because now if that's the case, then if I'm playing a Hades deck, I'm not going to let Hades touch any challenge whatsoever, and I'm going to have him sit back and just take all that extra lore for me as he sits up on his throne and lets all his minions do all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like flavor-wise, that kind of makes sense as well.
Krenko.
Like I feel like
Huh?
That was a good one.
Krenko of Lorcana.
Yep.
He's a crank. Yeah, like a Krenko. Yeah.
Mount Olympus Kingpin over here.
Nice. What were you gonna say? B squared.
I think that's also like Maleficent Dragon makes sense in that area too. Everybody's talked about how expensive the card is and how few pips it has, and it's like, you know, it could be a huge swing in the sense of you play the dragon, you gain 2 pips just from the dragon, and then say, I mean, Hades is cheaper than Maleficent Dragon is. So let's say somebody throws a Hades down on turn 8 or turn 6 or however the, I'm going to say mana system works or whatever, the ink system. You know, that's, you basically gain 8 pips at that point. You know, I think that theory supports that card as well.
It's a huge swing. Whereas if it's just get to X number of pips, you wouldn't play Maleficent, right?
No.
I don't care what they're doing. I want everything that's going to give me more pips, right? So
Exactly.
I definitely think that it needs to be that some sort of gap in between.
Yeah. The one thing that might be a deterrent to this idea is Mickey, because if this is the case, Mickey is significantly more powerful. Just doing the math on top of my head, is significantly more powerful than any of the other cards we've seen so far.
Not necessarily. Yeah. Because Mickey's 4 pips, right?
He is 4 pips and is evasive.
But evasive.
Yeah. See, I keep forgetting about that about that mechanic. You know,
so he gets
going to be so
Yeah.
strong.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it.
Yeah, so he's going to have a 4 pip advantage on you, and you have to have a specific ability in order to even touch him.
Right. Well, no,
this is where I wonder.
Sorry.
Or removal.
Maleficence would still work because it's not. Maleficence isn't challenge it. It's just banishing it.
Yeah.
It's not evasive.
Right.
Isn't like
Hexproof,
for instance.
And he does cost 8. Okay, I'm. It's not as strong as a turn as I initially thought. I still think it's I still think that's an incredibly good card.
It is, but let's be honest. Disney making a card game, you could guess that Mickey's going to be pretty solid.
Yeah,
right?
he's going to be a powerhouse.
That's fair.
Come on, guys. Walt wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, the other thing with the lore on the table being your win con, it sets up multiple ways to play. If you're teaching your kids to play, you could set it at a certain cap, and you know, each of you could play your game, and you could first to 20 wins, and you know, it's an accessible way to introduce somebody to the game, and then you could scale it up and make it more competitive by making the resource gap the win con. There's also ways to adjust it for multiplayer and team play. There's just all sorts of ways you could tweak that win con in order to play the game differently.
Yeah,
multiplayer would be
like deck building
interesting
as well, right?
Multiplayer would be really interesting to do with this.
Yes, it would.
Politics,
but like at the same time, like
and Commander, like it's the reason like politics. Table politics is a big reason people play Commander.
I love the politics game.
It's a social aspect, right? It's a social aspect. The social is a better thing to say, I guess, than politics.
When I first saw the Robin Hood card, I genuinely said to myself, of course it says an opponent. Like it amazes me that after the huge success that Commander has been going from a fringe a fan made
French format for the judges to play in between rounds,
to now being arguably the biggest format in the game.
Oh, I don't think it's argued at this point.
Sure,
I see
officially, it's still difficult because technically it's not an official. It's in that weird space.
No, it's official. It's an official format now.
But like rules wise, there's still a separate committee that deals with the separate rules. It has its own ban list, etc. But the product is produced for it, and I can run as an LGS. I can run an official Commander night
sanctioned tournament.
It's still in this slightly weird, slight grey area.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
But still, how any other card game hasn't come along in the last 5 years with at least a mind about multiplayer. It blows my mind, and the fact that Robin Hood specifically states an opponent, even if it's just future proofing, even if it's just, or even if it's just those that they're aware we're going to try and do it. You know, like even that's
They know we're
even that's
gonna
more.
try.
Even that's
Yeah.
more than most other card games have done in the last 5 years, right?
What I will say real quick is we had another interview on the podcast, which is going to be in a couple weeks. But we interviewed the creator of the Alpha Clash TCG. That their Kickstarter just wrapped up. They
did okay.
They racked up like $420,000 or about. So it was it looks like a pretty cool indie TCG. But they've got multiplayer formats already baked into the cake. And that game like plays very much. I don't want to say very much like Commander, but you could see
Isn't the dude in it not called Commander, but it's super close?
Contender.
Right.
It's the Contender, yeah. But again, like there's a reason. There's multiple reasons that Commander is like one of the most popular formats in one of the largest card games. And like for I feel like for any other card game, just ignore that is just would be the wrong thing to do.
I think even if it's just sort of roughly proofing your rule set so that it can at least be tried, you know, like even if that's all they do, it's still a lot more than others, right?
Oh
yeah. So I've seen Lee, were you gonna get ready to say something?
No, sir.
Okay. So real quick, I'm seeing villainous stuff. Who here plays villainous? And in chat, who plays villainous and enjoys that game? Nobody. All right. Okay. All right.
Oh, you're asking us as well? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody. So somebody. Was that you, Sneaky?
Nah, I've never played Villainous.
Okay. One of the things that I'm going to do is on stream we'll get like 4 or 5 people. We'll get a few people and we'll play some webcam games of Villainous on stream.
There you go.
So we've got I know there's been quite a few people in the Lorcana community talked about Villainous. So we'll do that on stream. We'll have to get that playing at some point.
It's really good. The good thing with webcam play is even though there is interaction, there's nothing I own ever goes over to you or vice versa, right? Like there is things you can do, but it actually probably works quite well for webcam.
Yeah.
If anyone in the chat is interested in picking it up to kind of see what Ravensburger can do with Disney, I guess I would recommend it. It is really great fun. The only thing I will say is don't expect it to be as balanced as hopefully a TCG will be.
Yeah, I've heard some stories.
Well, it's funny you say that, Jonty, because I've talked about this multiple times on episodes, like on the podcast and on our videos. We've done quite a bit of Villainous content on our channel, and I played that a ton. And so when I found out about Lorcana, I saw it was Ravensburger and was not immediately thrilled because, again, I looked at Villainous as a card game. Like to me, Villainous is a card game, right? There's people who think it's a board game, and like that, those definitions are very nebulous, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at it and I analyzed it as a card game. That was my mistake. Like you can't really analyze a non-trading card or CCG or like prototypical, board game as a card game. So that was the lens through which I was viewing it. And because of that, I was disappointed with some cards and how some things played. So when I saw that Ravensburger was making Lorcana, I was not immediately thrilled. But as I continued to dive into Lorcana, I just got more and more excited. But initially I was just like, oh man, I don't know. Because we had like, if you watch any of our Villainous videos, I get salty sometimes.
I do. So, I agree with Nive in the chat, which is weird because he's there as well.
I am everywhere. I am everything, everywhere, all at once. Great movie. Check it out.
He's got a pigeon on the keyboard. I do agree that if Villainous isn't a living card game or a CC, what is it?
A living card game.
Yeah, but like if it's not a living, Dan was saying that he doesn't consider it to be a living card game, but that's exactly what it is it not? Yeah.
So my definition of living card game is a card game that if you buy the box of Villainous, you have access to every possible game piece. Meaning, you have if you have a box of Villainous, you have everything you need right there. With a trading card game or a collectible card game, you collect it through booster packs, you collect it through Illuminator's Troves or starter decks. You do not immediately have access to every possible game piece.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
no.
You still with us, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good. I swallowed some water, went down the wrong pipe there. Sorry.
Oh, that's terrible. I hate when that happens.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Knive. Like if we're looking at it from a card game model, yeah, I would classify it as an LCG. However, again, like if you're analyzing a game or a card like through the lens of any card, like any TCG, CCG, LCG, there's certain templating that you would come to expect on a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't there with the cards in Villainous. Like it's just not there. Mm-hmm. But again, it's not really like any type of card game that that a card game player would be used to, right?
Yeah.
So, but that was just how I was looking at it and analyzing it.
Yeah. No,
so it was
I
much
agree.
very light.
I don't even think it's a Villainous thing either. Like that kind of asynchronous gameplay in board games is super popular right now. You know, we've had things like Root and I can't think of another one off the top of my head, but like that's huge at the minute, right? That's really on vogue. Yeah. And it is really tricky to get it right, but very tricky to nail it. But one thing it is great at doing is if I sit somebody down at the table with it and they've never played it before, I can hand them King John, and know that they're going to have a good experience while I'm sitting there going through my Captain Hook deck, desperately trying to find Peter Pan.
Yeah,
and we all enjoy ourselves, right? Whereas with a trading card game or a CCG, whatever you want to call it, it has to have that balance. Like the core of it is that it has that balance, right?
Yeah, I view Villainous as a unique deck game because that's basically what it is. Each character has their own unique decks. Liam, what were you gonna say?
No, I was going to say perhaps we're looking at it through the wrong lens, and it's not.
Yes, that was my point.
Yeah,
that was my point.
Can Ravensburger make a balanced game? It's like they weren't trying to. They were trying. Well, they were trying to make a game that, like you said, John T. You can sit down with a new player with a kid of a certain age and say, "Play this," and I can grab the hardest deck, and we can play and have a good time. Mm-hmm. And so maybe the question is, did Ravensburger succeed at what they were trying to do, at what their goal was? And if the answer is
and
yes,
to some extent, to push back a little bit, like I don't know if the word you were meaning to use there was balance, because there still does need to be some balance, right? There doesn't need to be like if every time, like a good example is when Jim and I would play, he loves to play Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts was his favorite character. Queen in two player. In 1v1, Queen of Hearts is broken. No other character can beat Queen of Hearts in a 1v1. It just wasn't designed. It was not balanced for 1v1. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now put that character in a multiplayer game, then that's a different story. So there does need to be some type of balance in any game, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. I was viewing it through the wrong lens. From like, I should not have been analyzing these cards from the standpoint of a typical card game templating, essentially. And I realize that 100%.
The one thing I was super happy about when I found that Lorcana was Ravensburger was I knew it was going to look good. Because one thing you've got to say about Villainous, they nail it.
It's
man.
beautiful.
It looks good on the shelf, right? Like I'm actually looking at my copy and the expansions over there. Like it looks great. And I don't know if any of you guys have played it. I'm working on a video at the minute, play and plug, of like games to play whilst waiting for Lorcana.
Yeah.
And obviously Villainous is number one, right? But there is a series of Disney parks themed board games out now.
Yes.
There's I mean, look at them. Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, Space Mountain. There is a Big Thunder Mountain, which I'm not sure is out yet. And
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I don't think it's out yet, and I think there's a fifth, and I can't remember what it is. They're all made by different companies. Weirdly, Funko makes some of them. You know, the guys that do the bobblehead things, and they're really great. They're actually really good board games. They've really definitely found which I think they needed to, because something like the Funko Pops is never going to last forever. I don't think so. It's good that they're moving into a new space. Space Mountain is made by Ravensburger, and it is terrible.
Is it?
It is. It is possibly the worst board game I have played in years. The pieces are crappy. The chits fall to bits. The mechanics are strange. It's completely random chance. There are no elements of decision making at all. It is genuinely one of the worst games, and I picked it up because I'm looking at doing this video about other games to play, and it genuinely saddened me. I was like, oh no, they can mess it up.
One thing,
after Villainous ticks so many great boxes, they really, really missed the boat with that one.
Well, I think so. There's two things that I'm interested on. Okay, the first was I think that the Ravensburger team learned a lot in going through and designing Villainous that they're taking with them to Lorcana, and I think Villainous is like the reason that they're doing Lorcana.
Oh, 100%.
I think Disney saw that and was like, guys, this is like awesome. It is extremely popular. And, I think, you guys wanted to do a TCG on it. Like, let's do it, man. Like, you guys just knocked it out of the park. And I think they've learned a lot of good lessons. And so I'm curious if they've got so many people working on Lorcana that like now everything else, like in the board game side, is like kind of not necessarily falling aside, but just getting nudged over a little bit, and everyone's just like, okay, no, we're all really focusing heavily into Lorcana, and because of that, I wonder if that's why Space Mountain kind of turned out the way it did. And then I know there's a lot of folks in the Villainous community who are like, when are we going to get a new Villainous expansion? So I'm interested for that.
Yeah, they're definitely hiring for Lorcana. They're obviously scaling up for it. But obviously people are going to be moved from some teams onto other teams. Yeah, I don't like, as much as I enjoy Villainous and it's on the shelf at work. I don't really keep up with it. I'm not sure when the last one was or how often they came out before that, so I can't really comment on that. But
the last Villainous expansion was a Marvel expansion for Venom. Okay. It was a single character.
Oh, really?
Just Venom. Yep. And then before that was Star Wars. Before Star Wars, there was a Marvel expansion. It was Loki and Madame Mask and MODOK was in that expansion. There hasn't been a Disney expansion in a while.
Yeah, if you're just interested in the base game, if you're just interested in the actual sort of animation studios stuff, it's been a while then, eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been a while for Disney. Because the folks who play Disney, they're like, they don't like Marvel much as they do Disney. I mean, like there's a reason people buy the Disney stuff and not anything else. Like Disney's just huge. They're a massive brand. And I wonder if that's one of the reasons, maybe not the reason, but I mean, I think there's people sleeping on Lorcana. And
Definitely.
I think it's going to be successful, even if the game is terrible. I think I don't know who I was talking with about this, but I'm like, even if the game is terrible, it's still gonna sell. It's still gonna sell, I think, because of the name. Eris says, you're telling me that they put Venom in Villainous. Yes, there's the Marvel.
It's Marvel
version.
Villainous, which is a separate game, right? Like it's not.
They're not compatible. No, they aren't.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I could play. No, they're really not. They're very, very different games. And both have their strengths and weaknesses. Jim and I like to play Marvel more than Disney because there's more player-to-player interaction in Marvel than there is in the Disney version. And I think for the majority of seasoned card game players, I think you would enjoy the Marvel version more than you would Disney, because Disney it's essentially, I mean, it's basically solitaire. It's who can get their win condition first. That's basically what
the interaction in the Disney version is basically turn over one of your bad cards.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nothing. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Like it can happen quite a lot, right? Yeah.
Yep. 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 Blue says, when is the next villain being released for Disney Villainous? We don't know. No idea. Not a clue.
So regarding that, Villainous was almost like a blueprint for Lorcana, or at least to an extent, an interview, a resume for it.
Yeah. Trial run.
We'll never know this, but do you reckon Ravensburger went to Disney, or do you reckon Disney went to Ravensburger?
I have been asking this ever since this was announced. Okay, so here's what I think. I honestly think that Disney approached Ravensburger because of the success of Villainous. That's what I think. Now,
Disney was looking at the numbers from Wizards and stuff, and we're like, hey, we could, if we shave off like 2% of this market, we'd be happy. Who can make that for us? You reckon? Yeah.
That's what I think. I have no confirmation of anything. Go ahead, Sneaky.
I was going to say, see, I've been sitting over here like this entire time. We've been talking about Villainous, like thinking to myself, literally, this is the conversation I've been having. Am I crazy, or didn't say Disney approached radio? Like that, I don't know where I got that from, but that's like, I've literally been sitting here for like 15 minutes just trying to remember where I saw that. Yeah. So once again, I could be crazy, but I could have sworn I saw that somewhere.
It could be both.
That might have been a rumor. That might have been a rumor.
I mean, that is fair. That's right. There's been so much in this Discord. Like, there's no telling what happened.
It all just blends together, man.
Like, let's be honest. We've already developed 6 different card games in the Discord.
Oh my word! Yes. Like seriously, like the Inkpot theory. Like, I want to make a card game that has the Inkpot theory. Like, now that we know that it's like, we're pretty sure that's not a thing.
It's called One Piece.
It's
I'm not allowed to play that.
It's closer to Force of Will, I think.
It's Force of Will. Yeah,
Force of Will.
Yeah,
it's Force of Will. One Piece isn't far off. Yeah.
All right, Liam.
Yeah,
go.
Sorry. I think it had to be Disney approaching Ravensburger, and I can't get over the connection between the discontinuation of Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom and Lorcana.
Yeah,
the
which
timing.
Was 2021 was it? They finished that
January.
January.
Do you think so?
I 100% think so, because, and it's not necessarily it's either the licensing deal affected their desire and ability to continue Sorcerers and print those cards, or they were looking at closing down Sorcerers anyway, but wanted to continue some sort of park card thing. And so, because they're inextricably twined, I think it would be a lot more difficult for Ravensburger to go to Disney, and Disney know the implication of pursuing this is that they have to shut down Sorcerers. The timing is just too uncanny, and the game couldn't have been that expensive to maintain in the park, and it was popular.
Am I right in thinking that Sorcerers was only available in parks?
It was.
Because I know it worked in the parks with, like, you'd hold stuff up to cameras, but it's not like you could go and pick some packs up in Target before going to the parks, kind of thing, right? Okay.
Yeah. But there were at-home rules, and you could make and people made promo cards, and it was popular.
But they were not making money off of it either, because they were giving those things away for free.
Yeah. But what they saw, like, so it was interesting that they did these promo cards on Halloween and Christmases every year, and they tied them to movie releases and other things that we expect them to do with Lorcana. And the secondary market for those promo cards, as you would expect, became it wasn't super expensive, but $50, $60, some into like $150. And Disney had to be watching these cards they were giving out for free, these promo cards, and being like, there is money here.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone. Wait a second. You mean to tell me that a company who makes cards sees the value of these cards on the secondary market and says, hey, how comes we can't get any of this money? Can someone, we need a piece of that pie, guys.
They can't admit that it exists.
Yeah, well, I was just seeing if I could quickly find the Wizards of the Coast official policy.
Wizards of the Coast cannot recognize that there is a secondary market because
we don't recognize a second-hand market.
Yes.
Here's 50 different secret lairs through the year.
Yep. Again, I am making a video. Again, I am making a video. Trust me.
Yep.
I am making a video is coming about this.
Yeah. Sorry, Liam. I know I cut you off, but
no, that was my thought. That was
no, I think you're 100% right. I think even though it is probably a relatively small, I hope at least that the Sorcerer's Kingdom stuff was a small slice of what Lorcana could be. There's no way that we're not going to see special park packs of Lorcana.
No.
Oh, it's happening.
Art treatments.
No, they can't.
Gift sets.
They really shouldn't.
They
shouldn't.
Can. They just said. I think Ryan Miller was the one who said they're not going to do a mechanically unique.
Unique.
No, foils,
just arts
new
and
arts.
stamps.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not saying mechanic cards. No, of course, no. I'm saying foil treatments, full art cards, extended arts, whatever you want to call them. That
again, I feel
ridiculous to think they're not.
I feel like as a card game player, anytime anybody says promo. I mean, am I the only one here whose our mind immediately goes to like a mechanically unique card and not just a new foil treatment?
So,
like thanks Wizards, because of the 25 different alternate arts that you're putting in all your stinking packs. Like
Digimon is the game that gives me those feels, man. The promos in that game are rough because a lot of them are really strong and hard to get.
Yeah, at least I think Magic, for the most part, at least like in the recent history, as their promos have just been alt arts or foils and stuff, right?
Yeah, the last time Wizards did something like that, it was for Core Set 2020. Their buy a box promo was outside the regular set, and it turned out that this buy a box promo was top tier meta.
It was, you're talking about one of the extra turn spells, right?
Yeah, it's 5 in double blue. Take an extra turn, shuffle the card into your deck.
Yeah, what was the name of that card?
Something.
Come on, you're gonna
destroy your opponent. I was like,
basically,
like literally, and like the deck was like the goal of the deck was to bore your opponent to death.
Well,
that's the goal of a lot of control decks in Magic. I mean, let's be honest.
The only thing Magic still do, I think, is Tim, my boss, gets a Christmas card from them, and it has a unique card in it, but it's always like a silver border thing.
Yes, those are not legal in anything except for Rule 0 formats.
Yeah, but that's the only thing I can think of where they're still producing like mechanically unique promos.
Right.
Well,
right.
Well, they have the team promos, like the cards that they give out to team members in like staff for certain stuff, and those are legal.
Right.
Yeah. Heroes of the Realm?
No,
So like I know recently there was one. Yeah, recently there was one where it was like all the team that was working on like the virtual stuff over COVID was like there was a team for that, and so they made a specific unique legendary creature card for that team. And there was another one recently for the customer service, and it was some kind of like thing, again, unique legendary creature, and every member of that team got a copy of that card.
Yeah, Liam's right. They're called Heroes of the Realm. That's what they brand them as. But I'm pretty sure.
Is that what they're called?
They don't have legal backs. I'm pretty sure.
Those are not competitive or constructed.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure the back of them says Wizards of the Coast legal. Heroes. Yeah. But yeah, again, so there's still stuff out there, but none of it's.
He doesn't
like
have
legal.
this.
Yeah, the card back. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Back to Lorcana.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be very tough for them to not produce mechanically unique promos. But as long as Ravensburger get the final say on that, as long as that's sort of hard in the contract, Disney can pass back and forth how big Mickey Mouse's ears are on the art. As long as Ravensburger have full control over the mechanics of the game, and Disney just deal with how. Do
you think Disney cares about what they do with the game? Like obviously they care about their brand and their IP.
They care about how much they're shaving off the top.
Yeah,
and as long as it looks fine and the checks keep coming, I don't think they care less how the game plays.
I was going to say, Jonty, I'm sure the size of Mickey Mouse's ears is explicitly spelled out in the contract.
Oh, 100%.
And not
100%.
Absolutely.
It's like that thick, that section.
Absolutely.
Mickey
Eris,
Mouse's ears must be directly proportional to the size of his body. Do
you remember the really
Eris
weird
says the
90s
name
where
you guys
they-
said, Here's the Realm. It looks like it's Beacons of Tomorrow. So,
what was
sorry.
that? Beacons of Tomorrow?
Beacons of Tomorrow. Yeah. But again, I cut somebody
The,
off. So sorry, Jonty.
Oh, Jonty and I were just talking about Mickey Mouse's
We were
ears.
going to go deep on me and Aaron were going to start a new podcast just about Mickey Mouse ears. There was a weird phase in the 90s where they made them
on the back of his head.
like side on, like they turned with him.
Yeah.
And they did it for like 6 episodes of a cartoon and then got rid of it again, and now they go back to just sort of moving as they would.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
Nexus of Fate.
While we're
Nexus
talking
of
about
Fate.
There it is. There it is. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Liam.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just they don't need to make mechanically unique cards for it to be popular. If you want to have some fun, like jump on Disney collector, forums sometimes and see the rooms filled of with Disney backpacks. And I mean, any unique treatment is going to be collectible.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that like they need to make mechanically unique cards to be successful. It's more so like just a want. I'd be curious, like if the designers like would just want to make new cards like that.
I don't think the designers do. I think that any designer worth his salt knows the problem with mechanically unique promos.
Sure.
And it would totally be from the high ups, 100%. Well, just make it's a game, isn't it? Make a really strong game card.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll sell 1,000 of them for $1,000 each.
They're just
I
going
can
to
pay for my next
Santa
yacht.
hat on Olaf and call it a day. Like,
Yeah, honestly.
Seriously, with the way that this IP works is like they could make a unique card and have it be a vanilla Olaf, and people will still swarm for it.
Exactly. Like the card doesn't even have to be good.
Like
it just has to be
1 for 1 with 0 pips and
right. Yeah, seriously, it could. Like I've told this story so many times about growing up, me and watching the Aladdin VHS, nearly destroying that VHS because I would always take it out, rewind, put it in the rewinding machine, and then I would just do it again and watch it again.
I mentioned this on Sugi's gone there, but I was a guest on his podcast a few weeks ago. I genuinely wore out my copy of Toy Story on VHS. We genuinely had to go and buy another one because the second it finished, it would get rewound and press play again, and I could pretty much recite it. But one thing I will say is
nostalgia.
You can really see that Ravensburger are leaning into that. They know their market. And we all talk about our kids getting into it. I really don't think that's the market for this game for them as far as Ravensburger is concerned. They're looking at us. They're looking at
us.
Their 20 to 30s.
Look at the group you have right here.
Exactly. It's the people with disposable income who remember these movies from their childhood.
Disposable income?
We've had Olaf. We've had Stitch. We've had Maleficent. We've had all these. These are all big hitters in the parks, especially ones where the movies necessarily didn't do so well at the time, but have now become like almost these like cult characters within the Disney fandom. Stitch and Maleficent, especially. The second we see a Figment card, that's it. But they've I know exactly that they're going for the
Milo
the
Thatch, the boy from Treasure Planet.
Yeah, Milo. Yeah,
all these ones.
Jim Hawkins. Jim Hawkins from Treasure Planet, dude.
Yeah.
They'll be hitting all these notes for sure.
Oh yeah.
The only other thing we haven't mentioned about all the reveal stuff that I wanted to mention was on the Hades card. That is our first example of a theme deck. Something that me and Nive have talked about.
Let's go tribal.
Essentially,
this would be called tribal, but we're trying our best not to use that term anymore. But yeah, that's the first time we've seen those words matter. I think.
Yeah.
The Floodborn villain, king, deity. I'm pretty sure this is the first card that's referenced those in their rules text. So that which we kind of knew would happen, I think, because otherwise, why are they there?
Yeah, I mean we've seen Floodborn, but you're talking about villain, king, and deity.
I'm saying that's the first time we've seen those words be referenced within the rules of the card.
Exactly. This is the first time we have seen
villains in the card text.
Yeah,
this card
just
matters.
the status line.
This card cares about other villain cards.
I
so
gotcha.
it's for years and years it's been called tribal. This is a word we're trying not to use now because unfortunately it has some sort of negative connotations with certain groups. So I think we're trying to say theme, or a lot of time I've been hearing in Magic they'll say like goblin matters or villain matters. That's fine as well.
In my experience, I think the only time the term tribal was ever really used was just a commander deck. Outside of that, normally I would at least my group, we would just normally say like card type, like but yeah, goblin matters, angels matter, or
Sure.
even just angels, like angels, goblins, like
goblins.
that.
So this is a big thing in Magic. I don't know if it comes up so much in other games. Nothing really jumps out at me, but Magic, it's a key. Deck type is that
creature,
sort of
creature type,
card type,
creature type, and you just build the deck around all stuff that cares. If a goblin enters the battlefield, this halves, you get +1 for every goblin you have. Every time a goblin dies, a goblin does a goblin, right?
Him.
This is a big thing in Magic, but this is the
Mm-hmm.
first card we've seen in Lorcana that has that kind of speak. It's the first one where it cares about the card types of other cards on the battlefield. Which is great. I'm very happy it's there. I'm a huge fan of that kind of gameplay. Personally, I'm a very traditional. I just like to turn cards sideways. I'm not a very heavy control player. I like to put creatures down, and I like all the creatures to care about the other creatures and get bigger because of it. That's definitely how I like to play. So I'm very happy to see that in there.
Yeah, slivers.
Slithers is a
Steggy,
great example.
Take that out of here right this second. I hate slivers
so much. So for those who don't know, in Magic, a slither is a creature type, but the big thing about slithers, other than other creature types, is that they let every slither have an ability. So a card will say all slithers gain whatever.
Double strike, first strike,
double strike,
all the keywords,
all
the keywords.
Indestructible, cascade.
Yeah. So it would be like a Hades.
Everybody say bye to Knive, okay?
What? What did I do?
You're giving Dan like Vietnam style flashbacks of playing against slithers.
The first sliver.
Oh man!
Yeah,
If anybody's played Historic Brawl, anytime I would come up to a slivers, I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm out, guys. No way.
It's Geppetto for me, the clockmaker. That's mine.
Isn't there a new guy in Magic that's basically Geppetto, and it's if you play a beast or a bird, he makes a copy of them.
You're thinking of Thanos. No. We're talking about a guy who literally makes a clock when he enters the battlefield.
And he's called Geppetto?
In
no,
Magic?
It's not called Geppetto.
Oh.
But let me look him up.
Makes a clock. Is it from Brothers War?
No. So when he enters the battlefield, he creates a copy of Midnight Clock.
And you put counters
on. Oh, that's from okay, that's relatively new because
that's
from
Alchemy. Remember Alchemy, guys?
Alchemy. I mean, it's still relatively new.
Oh, Alchemy is that's the digital only version, right?
Yes, digital only. Correct.
Yeah.
I work in a game store. We don't talk about Alchemy.
Yeah.
We don't care about that.
We don't talk about Alchemy.
I'm not gonna lie. I hope Ravensburger doesn't talk about digital Lorcana either.
They're not
for a long time.
I don't think they will.
Or at least not digital exclusive.
No. I don't exclusive, but the digital ruins the magic of card games for me, and I do appreciate when people live someplace where they don't have somebody to play with, and I do sympathize completely. But
no, I get it.
Yeah.
There was a tweet or a blog post or something by one of the designers of Magic a few weeks ago, and they were asking for opinions on why standard format wasn't doing so well. So standard is the format where you play the most recent sets, and they sort of rotate every year or 18 months. And they were like, why do you think standard is not doing as well as it used to? And my reply was, because of you. Because you made Arena. That's why. Because people can go and play it digitally now and do it at a fraction of the price of cracking real packs, which is great. I play Arena, and like you say, if you're not near a store, it's fantastic. But don't bemoan why people aren't playing in real life when you can spend
When you're the
$500 on a
reason.
deck and maybe play against 3 people on a Tuesday, or you can put 8 hours into a deck digitally and play all day, all night, every day of the
Right.
week.
Right.
So it's
and it's not even just Arena. Like I was watching some videos yesterday, and it was these interviews, and someone asked, they were at a regional, the regionals at DreamHack or whatever, and they asked a question about standard, and this guy had like the funniest answer. He's like, I really don't think it's anybody's fault, but really what it comes down to is, the players are going to play what other people are playing. So, if you want standard to, come back, maybe included in the tournament scene. It's like, he literally says like, it's not my fault, but hey, Wizards, you remove standard from literally every single format, including store championships. So why do you think standard is dead?
So they have started bringing it back. There's the RC in Canada has standard as a format this year, and we have gone from having 2 people out to play standard on a Tuesday night. One of them is me, because I actually really enjoy the rotating format. I think it keeps it fresh. To having maybe 6, 7, 8 guys out now on a Tuesday. So that has genuinely made a difference. Just bringing it back into tournament play, which I'm not a competitive player, honestly. Like playing in a pre-release at my store is as competitive as I will ever get. But I'm quite amazed at how much the competitive scene seems to matter to the grassroots players. I'd be really interested to see how Lorcana deal with that, considering they have said that they want a less competitive game. Like, are we going to see sort of invitationals? Are we going to see championships? Are we going to see the worlds happen at at the top of the castle in Disneyland? Like how are they going to deal with it? Like the options there, I think I can definitely see that happening at a convention center near a Disney to hold a tournament. Do you think we'll see that kind of thing?
I was just going to ask you that. So let's get to this question, and then Knives got something, but I don't think so. When did we talk about this? We might have talked about this a little bit last week, but my initial thought was I don't think Disney is going to put that kind of money into it unless they see that the profit is there for them. Like if they see that this is a massive success and like there's opportunity there, then they would do it. Now Steggy says, didn't Disney say there's going to be organized play? So that didn't come from Disney. That came from Ravensburger when it was announced. And organized play, for those that don't know, organized play typically means like the designers partner with local game stores, and then that's how the competitive scenes essentially.
But that could be promo packs in the mail to a game store, right? Like it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see.
It could mean a lot of different things. For sure.
True. Yes. But my initial thought was no. I did not think we were going to see nationals or world championships at Epcot per se or at Magic Kingdom. I thought it was crazy because I'm like, they're just not going to put the resources into it. But I'm curious what everybody else thinks.
I just, as the non-TCG player in the group, here's my little 2 cents.
Yeah.
I 100% could see. Yeah, thanks. I can 100% see there being organized play at ESPN World of Sports. And it's a really low barrier to entry for Disney. They have tons of convention centers on that property. And if this game takes off and they're like, oh, there's legitimate interest in organized play, whether that be a competition, whether it be some sort of convention of some sort, hosting that at ESPN World of Sports makes sense. They're going to have a bunch of people come and pay to stay in their resorts to go play this game.
Oh, yeah.
So
real quick.
You'll be pleased to know, Aaron, that
I'm
you're
not.
correct.
Yes, I'm not saying they don't have the capability to do that. They absolutely have the infrastructure. They've got everything set in place to where they could do it.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think initially they're not going to be the ones to take the initial risk. They're not going to say, we're who knows? Let's see. We can. Could they afford to lose the money? Yeah, but Disney, like, they're a massive company and they don't lose money unless they absolutely have to. If they see that it's popular, then they will be like, oh yes, where's money to be had? We're there. I'm right there.
However,
That's my thought.
Ravensburger could rent ESPN World of Sports.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at this wrong, Dan. I'm not saying that they close Magic Kingdom for the day. I'm saying that Ravensburger put on a tournament in something like the ESPN buildings. Disney Florida literally have convention centers on site. Like, they are literally there, and this is what they are used for.
Yep.
I'm not saying that they close down Space Mountain and instead we all go inside and play
We
cards.
play in Space Mountain while we're riding it.
The tower is there.
I'm saying that it happens on Disney property in Kissimmee. I've not done California yet. I'm from the UK, so my trips to Disney stop at Florida. But 100% that there is space there for all of this, and the prize, 2 nights in Art of Animation next door that's cost them nothing, right? Like, there's no way that this isn't going to be a thing. It's not, and it's not Disney's money. It's the game's money paying for the space, like the Scouts hire the place out, right? Like, it's not 100%. This is what we're going to see.
Yeah.
I don't know when
you make some good points.
I'm not sure when it'll happen, but I agree with Jonty though. I think it's definitely going to happen for sure.
I think, like you said, Ravensburger could easily just rent out space. I think that hosting, not necessarily subsidizing, but at least hosting these events would be another big push to ensure this game's longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I will also about that Disney cruise.
Disney cruise.
Yeah.
I am a forever pessimist, and like I typically that's just.
You can only be pleasantly surprised, right?
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
So
there's some wisdom in that for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's me.
But yeah, I mean, Disney, Disney World's always busy, right? But there are days where it's filled out with marathon runners. There are dance troops, hire the place out. I've been on off season, although that exists less and less now these days. But they do this kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I think it's ridiculous to think otherwise. I 100% think we'll see within a year of the game coming out. I think we'll see a big event at one of the parks for the game.
So what you're saying is my initial thought was ridiculous.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
All right.
It was bad, and you should feel bad.
You were wrong, and you should feel terrible.
Disney hosting it.
Wait a second.
And I think John and I are saying that Disney is not going to pay for it.
Yes, exactly that. I'm not saying that Disney are funding this. I'm saying that Ravensburger and Disney will work together to use the space that is already there for this kind of thing.
Yeah. So we all essentially agree. Like, Disney's not gonna be the one to foot the bill.
Well, and they've got a lot going on right now with the Bobs and everything. So
I saw Bob Iger walking around the parks the other day. That's a good sign.
That's a great sign.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, I mean Bob Iger. Like, say what you will about Bob Iger, but like, dude, he did a very good job running that company.
I think a lot of the flack that the other Bob is getting is mostly stuff that Bob Iger put in place before he left. It seems clear now that he was put in as a bit of a scapegoat for a couple of years after COVID. But also, I don't know, Bob Iger's a good-looking fella.
B squared. What's your take on the having the tournaments in the parks? Are you is your opinion ridiculous, like Jonty says?
I don't know. Like, in regards to it, like where it is for me doesn't so much matter as like, is it going to happen? And I think ultimately that's going to be up to Ravensburger, because like what I'm thinking of right now is like, Ravensburger is a game and toys company, and it's like, do they want people to play with these cards, or do they want people to collect these cards? Like, really what kind of audience are they targeting? Because I mean, I come from a playing standpoint, like I want to play this game, and if this game is going to be successful and if it's going to last for a long time, you hear a lot of people talk about the big three. It's like if you want them to be up there with it, people have to play this game. Like it's not going to last if it's just fun to collect. That's just the state of it. And so like because of that, I really think it's inevitable. Even it like Steggy in chat said like third party tournaments. I think even if Ravensburger doesn't do anything, if Disney doesn't do anything, there's going to be groups of people out there trying to make something happen. Like
absolutely.
Ryan Miller in one of the D3 interviews that I saw, talked about how he wants this to be easy to play and accessible. And the fact that he wants it to be like accessible, that kind of stands out to me. It's like I feel like he wants people to see this game. He wants to draw in people, not just from the TCG realm, but maybe parents who like collecting Disney stuff or whoever and say, oh, this is really cool. I want to learn how to play this trading card game. What's the first thing they're going to do? Like they're either going to try to learn how to play with their family, or if say they don't have kids, they're going to look at their local game store and say, hey, is there a game night? Are there people that I can play with? And they've stressed the organized play. I don't know if that means competitive yet or not.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either. I don't think you have to have a competitive format in order for a game like this to really thrive. But I think that kind of stuff is inevitable, essentially.
There's definitely going to be people there who want to do it competitively.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll be honest with you, as a game store manager, I am trying my best to not have those people come. they can. You've got Yu-Gi-Oh and you've got Magic for that. What I want to do with Lorcana is I want to put an event on a Saturday morning. I want to have kids and families come down. I want to give the prizing out for sportsmanship. I don't want it to be a winner. I want to have a half an hour monitored trade session where we'll check kids trading cards with each other and make sure nobody's getting crazy ripped off. That's what I want Lorcana to be. I don't want it to be this crazy competitive edgelord meta defining game. There are games that already do that and they already do it well. I want Lorcana to be something that all the 30, 40 somethings that come into our store and buy Warhammer and Magic, I want them to be able to bring their little boys and girls in and play with them as well.
Yeah,
that's still going to be a thing though.
Yeah,
like there's still going to be people who want to do that.
That's fine. They're not doing it at my store.
Sean and I will see ourselves out.
I 100%. I think there will. Of course, there's going to be a competitive scene, and I think the game needs one. But what I don't want to see is it become only a competitive scene like Flesh and Blood, right? I think this game lends itself and needs to be accessible to kids and families and people who aren't watching this. Honestly, that's who I think needs to be buying Lorcana, are the people who don't watch this kind of thing.
This just in, Jonty doesn't want people to watch his videos.
He also doesn't want people
it's
to
going
come
very
to
well
his
so far.
He's actively going to be kicking people out of his store.
Calls hobby and happiness absurd.
Yeah.
No, but you
I think that's the thing is that
yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
Sneaky.
think that's the thing is that there's a spectrum of players. You're gonna have your kids and your families that are just picking up the cars and playing around with it just because they enjoy the IP. There's gonna be people that are looking for local, but then there's also want that competitive aspect, and so giving everyone an opportunity to enjoy the game how they want to, I think, is important. And I think it's awesome that Johnny wants to put on these like casual, kid-friendly, family-friendly events at his LGS. I think every LGS should do that. I mean, that's how I grew up playing Magic. It was when I grew up, my Magic scene was, I was playing in, high school and middle school, and that's what half the players for Magic were. I go to my LGS now, it's all 20, 30 somethings. Kids aren't involved in the Magic scene anymore, and they need to be. And I think that Lorcana is in a really awesome place to be able to pick that. I mean, I'd agree with it. To bridge that gap and have that opportunity for everyone to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I think the problem with Magic now is that it's almost a victim of its own success. It's, you want to get into it. There's 30 years worth of stuff to look into, and there aren't that many entry level products now. There is a starter set that's like 260 card like kitchen table decks in a box, but even those, there's a lot of words on that on those cards. There's a lot of keywords that aren't explained. It's the barrier to entry for Magic is actually pretty high, I think, and I think that's where Lorcana can really come in. So Sneaky, tell me this then. Sorry to take over, Dan, for a second, but I'm really interested in this.
No, you're good.
Sneaky, as a competitive player, what you've seen so far from Lorcana, I know we've seen like 8 cards, I guess. Do you feel like there is scope there for this to be for this game to have a competitive format?
I actually do. And so before Mulan and Hades, I wouldn't have been able to say that because we didn't have enough differentiation. But with Mulan and Hades and seeing how they interact and how I can literally picture myself building different decks with different win cons and different strategies based around those 2 cards. So that really opens up to me like the thought that you're going to be able to have this differentiation of strategy, this depth of play that you can turn into a competitive format.
I think even without the full rule set, I think it's kind of safe to say that Hades and Mulan both look like bombs, right? They both seem to be like, this comes down, like if this was Arena, if this was a digital fart, this would be the thing when the screen shakes. Like it's Hades will come down and could win you the game, it seems like, at least.
And that's why I'm very curious to know what the rules are, how this is played. And I think, like me personally, I am literally like I am sitting on pins and needles, wanting to know how this game is played because I'm very interested on the depth. And like I think anytime you get a strategy game, there's going to be people who want to dig in, like dig their teeth into like see how far they can get with the strategy side.
Yeah. And like while we're on the topic and then also circling back to something we talked about earlier, I've been wanting to mention this like the whole time because I've had so many discussions on Discord about it. I cannot tell you how thrilled I am that the starter decks are actual starter decks and they're not they don't have exclusive cards. The starter decks are for new players and new players only.
Yes.
And I appreciate that so much.
So the only thing I will say about that is that you are guaranteed those 6 cards in foil. So that's why maybe non-new players will get them. Like collectors are going to be interested in them because because it seems to be that foiling is going to be the chase. Like there's no signs of any like alt art or anything like that. Or
as long as they don't Pringle.
As long as they don't bring
for real, dude.
I say it every
swing in
time.
this house.
I say it every
but
time
it seems like
hilarious.
foiling is going to be the chase. So that's 6 of them guaranteed. So I feel they are going to be picked up by collectors or whatever because of that. But otherwise, yes, you're right. I think it's all stuff that's in the set.
All right, but before I need to do this now, or else I swear I'm just going to forget.
Oh yeah.
All right, Knive has a question and that we need to talk about. So Knive, take it away, dude.
So, to protect this person because they might have asked this question out of turn, but this is it. Insider Knive here. So this person who's a major figure of Lorcana. Was wondering, with the knowledge that it's 4 sets a year, and there are 204 cards within the first set, is that a good number? Are you okay with there being 200 cards in every set, 4 sets a year? Does that sound like too much, too little, or do we not have enough information as a public group to make that assessment?
All right, real quick. Let me jump in here real quick, and then I'll hear everybody else's thoughts. I mean, for a first set, I think it's good. I think right around 200 is actually a pretty good number for the first set. Afterwards, I don't know necessarily how I feel about every set being like 204 or even right around that number. I think like 250 ish. I like to see something along those lines. I mean, you also have to look at the different number of colors. If you have multicolor, if you have neutral, there's still a lot of unanswered questions for me to really stick on. Yes, I think 204 or right around 200 is good. But for the first set, like I'm open for like literally anything for this first set because like I'm like the wait and see. So I think that's a good starting number, depending on let's assume there are no multicolors. Assume there's no neutral factions. I think 200 is a pretty good number in future sets. I think between 200 and 250 is probably where I'd like to see. But that's my take. Who else?
Yeah, it seems about right, I guess. I don't know. I unfortunately don't feel opinionated on this, which is weird for me. Yeah, 200. Like Pokemon sets are always about 200. Yu-Gi-Oh is always about 200. I think the Magic's probably the outlier. They usually sit around 350.
Depending on the set,
I'm talking just like
right.
standards,
Main
because
set.
as much as Magic has had incredible like product fatigue recently, personally, they still do have 4 sets a year. Like if you get rid of all of the Masters and Commander and reprint and everything, as far as like standard rotation sets go, they still do 4. They still do 4 a year. But they are larger, like I think they usually sit around 350 plus. But yeah, Pokemon's always just under 200. I think Yu-Gi-Oh I think is around the same. Digimon I think is about the same. So yeah, fine.
I don't think I'll be upset or disappointed based on the number of cards there are in a set. My
bigger worry is that the next set's either massively outdate the one before it, or do the opposite and don't change anything, and we still end up playing the same decks for 3 months. If I have a 60 card deck, I have a 60 card deck, I want each set to swap 10 to 15 of those out, really. That feels about right for me.
Right.
I feel like we should. I feel like we'll have a better answer for this once we get to see all of the cards in the set. Like, I'd like to see the ratios on different colors and different Borns, stuff like that. But I feel comfortable right around 200. I mean, barring any crazy outliers, I think 200 is a pretty good number. Solid.
Right.
So, with the assumption that there are no generics and no multicolored, and under the assumption that the colors will be evenly distributed. Sorry, data brain here. We will be seeing 34 different cards in each color. So 34 separate amber cards, 34 separate amethyst cards, if all of those assumptions are met.
So it's going to take at least 2 sets to see monocolored decks. Maybe. Well, no, that's based. That's basing it on being singleton format. Right?
It depends on how many we can have per deck.
Yeah.
So that suggests that we're definitely not seeing singleton.
Oh yeah, we're definitely
with that knowledge, I think we'll see play sets of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree.
100%.
Liam, you had a thought.
I was just going to chime in and say I think I agree with everybody here, and that I think around the 200 to 220 range is probably right. I'm most concerned about balance. And making sure that the game mechanics progress in a way that makes sense. I will say the one danger, and I don't know how the rarity is going to work and how rare fables are going to be per case or whatever. But there's probably a danger or a little disappointment for collectors if you can buy 2 booster boxes and complete your set, and then you're waiting like 3 months. So eventually, mechanically unique 200 to 220 cards, but it would be fun eventually to see some different treatments of cards that people could chase. And I think that would keep a certain segment of the collector population involved in the set longer if there's a 200 to 220 range.
As long as it's not overdone.
About the lazy collectors like me who want it all but don't want to go.
Hey, that's what the non-existent secondary market's for.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
There was somebody on Twitter who he tweeted like, I'm really annoyed that the first chapter isn't getting a first edition. And
First edition,
unlimited.
yeah.
My word.
For those who don't know, this is a thing. It never works. It's awful. But the
Flesh
first
and
run
Blood
of
stopped
boxes,
doing it. Yeah.
the first run of boxes are branded first print. Basically, it's like
Yep.
a first print. And he's like, I'm
Yeah.
really annoyed that you can't get that because collectors like me, if we want the first edition, we have to go online and buy the D23 ones. And I'm like, yeah, that's how this works.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the collector wants the rare and expensive things?
Yeah, it's like I've got to spend money on the things that are expensive.
Yeah.
If you want to, yeah.
Flesh and Blood is a case study in I mean, they tried so hard to do it right, to be like, we've got the product for collectors, we've got the product for players, and it just because it turns out that Venn diagram overlaps quite a bit.
A lot,
Players
yeah.
want the shiny stuff, and you can't have a company that tried more to get the first edition thing right. They tried so hard. And and it
and huge, but huge props to LSS too, because like they clearly, like you said, Liam, like they clearly tried, and they like put their heart and soul into it too, because they're like, we have a guiding light, we truly have a guiding principle here, and we want to do everything we can to follow through with that. And sometimes like you as a company, you do everything you can, and it still just doesn't work out, unfortunately.
They're coming up to 5 years. They're still doing pretty good, considering they're an unknown company.
They just had their 3-year anniversary.
Was it 3? Was it?
Okay, their third birthday.
They have passed the 3-year test.
I tell you what, that first 6 months of COVID was a long 2 years, though, wasn't it?
It was a long.
It was such a
But
I was in college during that period. It was
an
terrible.
unknown company, an unknown IP. The fact that they've managed to carve themselves, even as the slitherest of pies, of that pie, like that, like fair play to them. We stocked it in the store on release, and I think we did the first sort of 5 or 6 sets. It's not really a big thing for us now. The only reason it isn't for us, honestly, is that another store in town like really went into it hard, and like we're kind of happy to kind of say, okay, cool, that's your thing, go for it,
that's their territory.
But like we can't all compete on the same product lines, right? So So, but the only reason, that's the only reason. Like it was doing well. It was coming in. It was selling. It was, people were buying. We'd maybe shift 24 boxes on release, and then we'd bring in another 24 over the space of a month or two just to go as packs on the shelf. That's pretty good outside of Magic, like these are good numbers for a game. So you've got to give it to them. My worry with all of this is, you're not going to be able to buy Lorcana anywhere. It's going to absolutely sell out everywhere. You're not going to be able to get a single pack anywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Get your pre-orders in, folks.
Yeah.
But see, I'm actually concerned
that when you can.
I'm actually concerned about like whether or not. So like in my area, I'm in a more rural area, or rural or urban, not city-like area.
Rural.
Yeah, southern United States. And so the game stores around here are few and far between. And some of the people that I've talked to both locally and that I've seen just through Twitter and everything else, I'm hearing a lot of store owners that like they're not even sure they're even want to deal with Lorcana right now. And so like beside the fact people really wanting it, I've asked my local game store, I think 2 or 3 days ago, if they were gonna like even thinking about it, and I just haven't even gotten a response from them. So like not even from the fact that I think there's gonna be a lot of people that want this and are gonna buy this up, but how popular is it gonna be off the rip? Are store owners gonna want to invest in this product when there's already Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Flesh and Blood, One Piece, all these other card games that are already trying to make space for, I guess.
It's super tricky for small stores to do, and the like even Magic isn't a sure thing anymore. Like Jumpstart 2020, one of the best products they made in the last sort of 5 years, and then they stuck the word Jumpstart on theme boosters and bought out Dominaria.
It's so painful.
We bought in a few cases of the stuff, and we ended up selling it at cost for our birthday celebration, right? Like, so even Magic isn't a surefire hit for these smaller stores. So God knows how they feel about doing other games. Like, I feel the IP is strong enough to shift whatever you bring in first time. Right? Personally, like
move units.
I think you're going to shift anything that says that it's got Disney on it. And then you can reevaluate, but yeah, it's super tricky for stores, like and especially with things like that where you're probably going to have to sell them lower than your regular markup, just to treat them as a loss leader, right? Just to get people through the doors. Our regular markup on product is 40%. So whatever the distributor charges us, we times that by 1.7, and that's what we sell it at, right? Boxed Magic, we sell at 21%. We literally make half the money on it than we normally would make, because that's how we have to do it to keep competitive, and that's what we have to do to get people in. And the reason we don't mind doing it with Magic is because they come out week in and week out and they play it, and they buy their sleeves, and they buy their play mats, and they buy our Cokes, and they buy our candy bars, But
you make up for it as a store with everything else.
But you don't have that with a new game. You don't know. You don't know whether people are going to come and turn up and play it, or whether they're just going to take the 6 boxes they bought home and stick them in the closet and treat it as a stock, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So like I'm in a similar situation where I'm in a fairly rural area with one game store, and like I'm into all the not mainstream stuff. Like I don't want to play Magic. I don't want to play 40K. So my big games are Rivenstone and Lorcana. And the thing that I found is if you want your game store to look into something, the easy thing to do is to find a group of people that shows interest. Because if they know they've got buyer lined up, then they're going to stock the product.
Yeah.
And so like we've got a pretty active Discord for our LGS. So I don't know what, if yours does. If not, I'd suggest you suggest to them to set up a Discord. And so we just reach out to people and try to like build communities there, share cool stuff we're interested in. And then if people jump in and they're like, yeah, that's something cool, then our game owner at least is willing to give it a shot.
I completely agree. Set up a Discord, message them. I will say this. If you're going into a store and saying, have you heard of this? They have, but they might not have even, you know what I mean? It might be on their radar, right? Like if you're hearing about it, we got an email about it 2 weeks before. But the difference between us skimming that email and then you saying the same name again and then us going, look, people are, people care about this, right? That's enough. So like we're pushing Shatterpoint, a new Star Wars game from Atomic Mass, coming out late this year. We're really doing that. We got an email about it a couple of months ago, and then people started to say, "Oh, are you getting Shatterpoint in or whatever?" There is a new D&D game by WizKids that's come out today called Onslaught. Not a single person asked us about it, so we have one copy that's sat on the shelf, and that is all we will ever do. And but both of them we knew about. We got emails. The distributors sent us saying, "Oh, this is the next big thing," like they always do. But the fact that people come in and talk to us about it, that's what makes the difference. So 100%, go and bother your game store, make them fed up of you. That's how they're going to make you, because they'll buy the product just to get rid of you.
One thing I want to interject here real quick. One thing for those of you who don't know, so the Hobbies and Happiness community, the reason that we started, I feel like just this topic is just a good thing to point out for us. The reason we started Hobbies and Happiness was because the game store that Jim and I met at closed. And that was where we developed and fostered like our relationship and our gaming community. So when that store closed, a lot of us were very devastated. Like we no longer had a place to go and play Magic. And at that time, I was already hosting a commander group at my place, and we still play from time to time. But the community that we formed there, we wanted to continue to grow that community. And unfortunately, we have other LGSs in our area that are not, shall we say, quality, and they don't really care about their community. They just care about, the money, which, I get it. Your business, you got to stay afloat, understood. But when you're actively treating your community like they just have a wallet and, they're what was the term? The customer is an obstacle between them and their money, something along those lines.
Yeah, we have that on a plaque in the office.
Tattoo on the
branded when you start working there.
Yeah. So like that was the reason Hobbies and Happiness started. So like that's a future goal of ours, is to open up our own store and continue that community here in our area. We're in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. So if anyone is in this area, I urge you, join our community, join our Discord. And one of the things we want to be doing this year is really get more active on the Discord, the digital community. So we do want to have an IRL community, but you know, one of our tenants as a business, as a company, I mean, we're obviously extremely tiny, but community is a huge part of what we do. And I feel like it's a part of like every LGS and every really good tabletop gaming community. Like community is at the heart of everything they do. At least I think if you're a good one, like you really prioritize your players and your community. So join our Discord, and we really want to be doing, you know, more just gaming sessions, just play with everybody. But I just wanted to make sure, for those of you who don't know that, that's one of the things that why we started Hobbies and Happiness.
That's awesome. You say you're in Chicago. Do you guys do Adepticon?
No.
We're looking at
we
coming
don't.
over for Adepticon this year. That's the reason.
When is that?
I don't know. There's loads of them. March, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. We do. So we have a. Say again. We're doing Gen Con. Yeah. Anyone else doing Gen Con?
Woo! Yes.
Hey, we're getting a house.
Woo!
Yeah.
So I don't normally do Gen Con because it falls right on my kid's birthday. So I'm usually the manager that stays back. So we do maybe about 10 or 12 through the year conventions. Either like half of them we have a stall and actually sell stuff, and then half we just go as punters. But yeah, normally I miss Gen Con because that's like I say, it falls on the kiddo's birthday. So, but this year, fuck him, I need to get my look on.
You're going to get his birthday present.
Yeah.
There you go.
He cares about trading card games, doesn't he? You know, so I'm probably just going to do the first couple of days so I can still get back for his birthday. But yeah, I'm excited because it's the big one, right?
I got when I was there last time, I got my son there was the dragon stuffed animal. So, you know, there's plenty of stuff there you can get for the kids.
Yeah, I've 100% said that once he's old enough, I'll take him. But it's a long. Those things are long days for adults, right?
Oh,
kiddo. So
How old, Jonty? How old is he?
He's 5. He'll be 6 at Gen Con, basically.
Okay.
But we do more. We do pretty much all the ones in Ontario, and then we'll travel over to Adepticon in Chicago, and then like I say, most of my team go down for Gen Con, and you could do something every weekend. There's the problem if you went and did all of them, right? There's that many of them. So I'm glad this early on, Lorcana have said, he's the one you need to box off, right? Because otherwise, you're
it's one of the things. Yes, it's one of the things. It is the spot. It is the spot where you're going to first get the chance to have cards in your hand that you take home.
Yes. No, I'm assuming it would be ridiculous to think they're not doing some other big ones through the year. But yeah, that's the first one you can actually walk away with product. So that's enough for me. And like I say, if they happen to line up and do. Toronto or maybe even Adepticon. I don't know. You know, like that'd be cool as well. But
right. So if any of you are ever in the area, hit me up. Let me know. Well, go ahead, B Squared.
So I didn't think about this until you literally just said like walk away with cards. Mm-hmm. Since we already know that we should be getting like gameplay stuff in spring, we're speculating like hopefully early spring. Do you think there's going to be things in between there at different conventions or whatever where you can show up and play with cards with other people, but like you can't walk away with them since we might know the game at that point, or no?
No comment.
Origins, 100% Origins. Maybe
that's Ohio Origins, is it?
Yeah.
Origins
there you go.
Columbus.
Huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Playing is tricky because they have to monitor like everything. Like I've done them. I've been to them before where they've had demos running with product that you can't take away, and like it really affects the vibe because they've got to sign everything in and out, and they've got to make sure everything goes away with you. Like even one card getting away can be a problem. So it is a tricky one, but that doesn't mean I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that if they are going to do something like that, it will be at a more exclusive kind of situation. Like one where like it's like there aren't going to be as many people there. There's a lot less risk of something
Oh,
like
like
that happening. That's my opinion.
That I forget the name of.
What?
I always forget the name of there's a vendor conference for like distributors and
Gamma
and stuff like
Gamma.
Gamma.
Yeah. So we go
Yeah,
to Gamma as well, but I'm not expecting them at Gamma, but who knows? Yeah, Gamma's good. Yeah, so Gamma is an industry one where it's you can't buy anything there. It's just to see the stuff that you can sell. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Last year, someone liberated a booster box of the latest MHA TCG set, and for some reason they brought like actual booster boxes with packs in it. So someone stole it and went and opened it, and then returned it. And their whole thing was like they just wanted to get the cards to send out to the community or something. It was a whole thing. It was hilarious.
Wow.
But that happened at Gamma.
It's usually not worth it, right? It's usually not worth the risk,
Right.
because you just get blacklisted and
literally, yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we've been going for close to 3 hours here tonight.
Wow.
So we are
We
going
keep
to
going
we're gonna wrap it up here. So what we're gonna do, guys, is everybody watching, we're gonna check everybody else's final thoughts, and then we're gonna give everyone a chance to plug themselves, so you can go check them out on whatever platform they're on. So Sneaky, let's go ahead and start with you, sir. So why don't you go ahead and give us some of your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are my favorite art from the release was Simba.
All right, Sneaky, where can people find you on the social platforms?
So I am part of the Glimmer Gang podcast, which can be found on Spotify currently, and I'm not sure where else. We're working on our distribution. And then also I have a YouTube channel called Lorcana Library, and at Lorcana Library on Twitter. I haven't updated in a while, but I will be fixing that shortly.
Okay. All right. Well, that's Sneaky, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Sneaky. And you know what? Hopefully we get you back here at some point soon. All right, man.
For sure.
All right. Take care, man. All right, B Squared. Give us any of your final thoughts for the week, evening, and let everybody know where they can find you.
Final thoughts. I'm just really excited. Somebody coming into this week. It was a really exciting week. I'm kind of hoping that keeps up pace. I've heard about the months you guys have been waiting. Don't want to do that again. Where you can find me, I have a YouTube channel. It's exactly like you see on screen, B Squared 24. I'm making a big transition to Lorcana. Have stuff in the works for that. And I'm really active on Twitter. It's the same handle, B Square 24, but then with the capital YT at the end. And, you can catch me chatting Lorcana all day on there. So.
All right. Well, B Square, it was good to have you on tonight. And hopefully we get a chance to talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Lee Barbs.
Yes, sir.
What else do you got? You got any final thoughts for us today?
It's been draining, man. It's been exhausting for all of us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, mark my words, Mulan Simba. It's gonna be a fun combo to play. And I don't know, you guys have an amazing week. You can catch me on Twitter at LeeBarbs_. I'm part of the Glimmer Gang. You can catch us on Twitter at Glimmer Gang Pod. And you guys have a great day. Or night.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's dark out.
Yeah, it's dark. All right. Take it. And before Lee leaves, I was on his podcast when he was not on his podcast.
Yes.
So, and apparently that episode drops tomorrow. So
it does. It does.
Look out for that. So, all right, Lee. And Lee, we need to get some webcam commander games in soon.
Yes,
so.
absolutely.
Right. Yo, hit me up for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
See
take care, Lee. All right, Knive, you're up, man.
Oh, I'm up. Okay.
Yeah, you're up.
Wait, what am I supposed to say? Just
Give
like
me,
last.
Final thoughts of news and everything that dropped, and where people can find you.
So you can find me on YouTube as Knives Nerd Corner. feel free to join the Pigeon Army. We are mighty, we are strong. And cool. But everything looks great so far, and knowledge is a curse. So just remember that.
All right, Knive, take care, and we'll talk to you later, my friend.
All right, bye.
All right, Liam and Aaron, what are some of your final thoughts?
You know,
what are you guys most excited for? Because you guys bugged me the other day, man. What that was kind of
Sorry.
I don't know,
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
how you guys
You still
jumped
got
in
that
there.
thing
It was really
edited and
weird.
out, and it was great. So and that was fun. What are we most excited for? I mean, in addition to take it, of course, we're excited to play. We're excited to collect. We're excited to get the cards in our hands. We've all said that. I'll put the Illuminateer lens on it and say we're excited to see more art, to meet more new Lorcana artists, and to start building a community around the art and artists in this game that exists like in Magic and some other TCGs. We're really excited for that. For card signings, hopefully artist proofs. I talking to these artists, they don't know what's coming. The hundreds of cards that Marcelberg is about to get through the mail for signature, they don't know.
I do think that you were saying before about the artists not being allowed to say much. I feel like Ravensburger are really gearing up to doing like a big like Lorcana artist reveal as part of their sort of big reveal. I do think we're going to start seeing like artist showcases as we move forward, which I'm excited for.
I think so too. We're excited for that too. We're bummed we can't get the scoop.
If anyone should get it, it should be you guys.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
Parker Robb says he loves the niche you two have carved out for yourselves, focusing on the art and the artists.
100%.
We appreciate that. It means
It's
a lot.
fun. Yeah.
It means a lot. And I'll let Aaron kind of lead us out.
No, yeah, I agree with Liam. The artists, I just really want to know who have done all of these cards and more. But please check us out on YouTube. We are the Illuminateers with a T. And we're also on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Yeah.
TikTok is the newest thing.
It's Illuminateer plus Mouseketeer for those.
Yes, for those who didn't see our very first video, and please don't go watch that video.
Don't go watch
it. No, go watch it.
ones
Guys.
are never
Everybody
great,
go
eh?
watch it. Go watch it. All right, well, guys, thanks for joining us again, and it's always a pleasure having you. And we'll talk to you guys again real soon.
You're all awesome.
All right, take care. All right, Jonty, I want to know what.
Well, a long strange trip it's been, eh, buddy? Last one standing. Do I win a prize?
So, do you have any other thoughts that you didn't really get to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think the main thing for me is that I'm surprised at how little coverage the Hades and Mulan cards have got, because I really feel like they open up not only our knowledge of the game, but also the scope of the game just in general. I think that's definitely the big thing to take away from this week. As flashy as hey, we're getting boxes and we're getting products and all this, I really think that's the key thing. But otherwise, I think it's solid. Everything I expected it to be, and happy with all of it, really.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see like their marketing plan and like how they're rolling stuff out. It's just it's very interesting. It's very intriguing. Like they showed us new cards, they showed us new art, and like they just left here it is. You don't see it.
So my background is in YouTube, especially is from video games. I have a video game channel, and a lot of the games that I've covered in the past, they'll do these big announcements, usually like a release date, and then they'll just keep the drip feed going with screenshots, and they'll always hide a little thing in the screenshot, and it's just enough to keep folks like me and you interested enough to make videos, which in turn keeps the audience interested. So that's what they really need to do now. We need to be seeing a card a week or a card every 2 weeks. Just that little drip feed, just enough to keep us all satiated until the next big thing, which is going to be rules, I imagine.
One thing that I didn't get to ask everybody, because I just thought about it. Do you think that they will give specific cards to content creators?
Oh, you're going to be moist just thinking about the idea. I very much hope so, because it would obviously be a great boon for all of us.
Right,
It's
right.
obviously something a lot of other card games do. It's almost
Yes.
becoming like the standard thing to do now. So yeah, I'd be super excited to see that. Yeah, and I'm a big believer in it all going to everyone from like give half of them to IGN and huge other other like channels that are already established through other card games, and then give the other half to people like myself and yourself and all the guys that we've had on tonight. I'm a very big believer in a rising tide raising all boats. And the fact that you guys are doing this and getting everyone together, and the Illuminateers are also fantastic, real advocates for the community as well. My big problem is that I end up recording at like 1 a.m. when I've got everything else done and nobody else is around. But people who are a little bit more organized than me, who can bring us all together like this, is fantastic. So I'd love to see everyone get a little card to reveal, and yeah, that'd be awesome.
Right. So, Jonty, where can people find you on any of the socials?
Yeah, all the I'm at the Illumineers, wherever good books are sold. I guess you can find me all over the place. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jonty, it was awesome having you on today.
It's been a pleasure.
And I can't wait to talk to you again and hang out and do some other stuff online.
We'll do it again soon. I noticed in the last one of these, and just then, it's a little awkward when you press close on these people. So I'm gonna pull a Frozen pose like they do at the end of like 80s movies. All right.
All right. Let's see it.
Are you ready?
All right. Let's go. You know what? Tonight was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of fun getting to talk to people like Jonty and B Squared, who I literally, before like 5 minutes, thanks Eris, like 5 minutes before I went live, I got in a message from B Squared on Discord, like, hey, I gotta see if I can find it. What did he say? Hey, wasn't sure earlier if I was going to be able to make it the live stream or not, but I should be able to if you're looking for people. I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. So that was fun. Yeah. So what we're going to do, thank you again, everybody, for hanging out with me tonight. This is going to be a weekly thing. I don't know. Again, just a weekly stream on my channel, on our channel. It might just be where, I hang out, I play a card game, I play something, but if there's stuff to talk about, one like this Lorcana Roundtable idea came from some other folks in other different communities. But like, this is what I want to do to help grow the Lorcana community, bring us all together, and honestly, just the tabletop space in general. And like, again, part of, like I talked about earlier, part of the reason we started Hobbies and Happiness was community. And like, Jim and I both feel that doing this, I really do view this as a roundtable, not a digital roundtable, but that table that's sitting over there in my studio. I'm envisioning just all of us sitting around and just hanging out, talking, getting to know each other, growing each other's own communities, and just honestly just hanging out. Like, it's fun. I'm gonna get off on like my own rant and just talk because that's what I do. But thank you. I appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. And then I'm just going to evaluate kind of on a weekly basis, see what's going on within the community, see if it's just a hangout, play a game, or we've got Jim here and we're doing something over on the tabletop. But yeah, I always want to make sure that my door is going to be open, and we're going to grow this community because I'm excited about this game. I think everyone who was on tonight is really excited for what is to come for Lorcana. So it's 11:45. I got to get out of here. I got stuff to do in the studio. I got to clean up. I got to prepare for tomorrow, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. Mario, thanks for the raid on Twitch. We're growing, and let's keep it going. Also, guys, don't forget, if you have not followed, head over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Sorry, what did I do? Nothing. We've got some DC deck building game videos coming. We've got some other podcasts and interviews that are coming. And yeah, I've got a lot of editing to do. Excited to get that stuff out there for you guys. Also, I'm very curious to my community, everybody that's here, what type of content do you want to see? I mean, Lorcana, like, I don't know if I really talked about this. I am going to be doing a video. I'll probably record it tomorrow and it'll get out sometime this weekend. But of all this news, I want to get my thoughts just in my own video, get that out for everybody just so you all can know. I know we all talked about it tonight. A lot of fun. But yeah, let me know. I'm very curious as to what type of content you guys want to see. We love gameplays. That's the type of content I love. And then just hanging out with the community. So, all right, I will get out of here. Guys, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy it all. And if I don't see you on the next video, I'll see you next week. Whatever. John T, you're not annoying, man. John T, one thing that I found out tonight about John T, that guy likes to talk. But it's good. It's good for me because I also like to talk and I need somebody else there just to take over. Because people don't want more of me, I think they want more of my guests. So all right, thanks everybody. And once I find how do I end this, there's the end button. Got it. Let's see, this is the second time I've used this software, so I'm still getting the hang of it, but cool. Thanks everybody. I'm gonna get out here and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great